your retirement savings. Or you can choose someone to help you win this battle with the IRS. Now is the time to tackle your tax debt, but you don't have to do it alone. Meet Priority Tax Relief, veteran-owned and the expert in tax debt resolution. Our priority is fighting for you. Our team has helped clients save millions and can reduce or even erase your tax debt. Call 800-961-3387 right now to talk to our winning team. Priority Tax Relief has a direct line to the IRS. That's right, a fast track to find out if you qualify for life-changing tax relief in just minutes. Priority Tax Relief fights to protect your money, has 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Why wait? Call Priority Tax Relief for your free tax consultation. Call 800-961-3387. That's 800-961-3387. Let's make your taxes our priority. Stop your tax debt now. Call 800-961-3387.
10 years ago, who could have predicted what the internet would bring? Streaming videos, voice assistants, smartphones, smart homes, work from home. But here we are, wondering what the next 10 years will bring. Whatever it brings, Lumos 100% fiber optic internet is ready with incredible
time show. Tyler Head, Terry Ford will be along as always. Good to be back on the halftime show. Of course, last week filling in for Bill Wednesday through Friday. I got to jet out of here at 12. Surprisingly, Terry was able to be on time for all those shows, and it's funny, the second I come back and resume my normal schedule, well, he's fashionably late as always again, because he knows I can start the show, and it's not Captain Dave having to give you traffic reports, at least on Larkin Poe, for the first couple minutes of the show. Regardless, Terry will be in here in a moment, as we have plenty to dive into. What a fun weekend for Gamecock sports. We don't get a lot of weekends like this, to be completely honest with you, in terms of like multiple sports going on at once. Obviously in the fall, when football wins on a Saturday, that kind of carries everything. But when you get in the springtime and you have all these sports going on, having, at least in terms of the sports that we cover, I know tennis, lost over the weekend. Men's beach volleyball, I believe, lost some games over the weekend as well. But in terms of like the main sports we tend to focus on here on the game, everybody had a very successful weekend. Baseball continues to be undefeated, 8-0 under Paul Maneri, with a clean sweep of Milwaukee, including a pretty good thumping yesterday, 14-4 in 8 innings with a run rule yesterday over there at Founders Park. Of course, women's basketball doing what we expect women's basketball to do, and trouncing Vanderbilt by 28 points on the road in Nashville yesterday. Men's basketball, perhaps the biggest story of the entire weekend, finally ending the long losing skid that dated all the way back to December 30th against Presbyterian before conference play started, but finally getting that much evaded first conference win against Texas at Colonial Life Arena. Does it save the season? No. Does it change anything for what the season is? No, not necessarily, but it feels good to say, hey, we're not going to go 0-18. Even if you lose the final 4 games and go 1-17, you at least have one win in that win column that that helps you from going down the history books as one of the worst teams in the history of the SEC in terms of regular season conference play. And then softball, who we've talked about quite a bit since we're under a new era with Ashley Chastain Woodard as the head coach, 15-0 right now, just continuing to dominate opponent after opponent. Now, when SEC play starts here in a couple weeks, that's going to be a more difficult challenge, considering the fact that you've got the top dog in softball in Oklahoma, I believe, on the road to start things off. So that's certainly not going to be easy. But up until this point, a lot of great things that we've seen out of Ashley Chastain's Woodard's team. And again, just helping culminate in what was a very, very fun weekend. So no matter where you looked, you were seeing success, seeing wins, which is great, because you don't take those kind of weekends for granted. Because you could be talking about a weekend next week where nobody's winning anything. And we're coming here a lot sadder on Monday, but a great weekend all around. And, when it comes to baseball, I don't think anybody's shocked that they're 8-0 to start the season. The quality of competition they've played has not been the strongest. Sacred Heart was a team that very nearly made the tournament, a season ago. But, the real focus in terms of quality competition starts this weekend as you take on Clemson, and then, a couple weeks after that, you got conference play beginning, funny enough, like softball with Oklahoma to start things off as well. So despite the fact that game's here at home, but the competition level is going to tick up. We'll get to some of what Maneri said a little bit later on in the show. But I love that even in these games against opponents that you're going to forget about after a couple days because they're so non-impressionable because they're just mid-major programs that don't have a ton of MLB prospects on their roster or anything like that. Using these games as very teachable moments and using these games kind of set the table of what this team's going to be in situations down the road as well, not only from a pitching standpoint, but from a hitting standpoint too. As look, despite the fact being an 8-0, the offense has not exactly been where I think anybody would like it to from a consistency standpoint. And again, it's 8 games in the season. We're not sounding the alarms and panic buttons saying, oh no, what's wrong? This offense can't string hits together, but you've been wanting to see a little more consistency, right? In terms of just putting together quality of bats, putting together strong innings and stuff like that. And I think yesterday's game, 14 runs off 13 hits that obviously culminated in the run rule from a hitting standpoint was your best game of the entire season, starting off with putting together a lot of quality of bats in the bottom of the first inning. Same thing with the second inning, same thing in the third inning, same thing in the fourth inning. Got back in the sixth inning as well, which had the Ryan Bakes 2-run homer in there. And then to close out the game in the eighth inning, that ended up being the quasi Evan Stone walk-off RBI that ended the game. So putting together hits, being able to have quality bats, those kind of things that Maneri's been talking about a lot. That, again, you don't expect it to be perfect out of the gate, but it's an area they've been looking to improve on. And what you saw yesterday was obviously very good, and you'd love to see that kind of thing this weekend against Clemson because guess what? The competition level is going to step up. They're way better than Milwaukee, way better than Sacred Heart, Queens, Winthrop, however you want to throw in there. They're going to be the best team you faced by a country mile. Pro prospects over there, the whole 9 yards. Pitching's going to be tough. And, again, you just want to be able to do the right things in these prior 8-9 games tomorrow when you talk about Gardner-Webb to make sure you're in the best position to go out there and succeed against your in-state rival this weekend.
I mean, you're right. Look, you're happy you're undefeated? Absolutely. Have you really beat anybody with a resume at this point? No. But you've handled your business. You've beaten teams you're better than.
Yeah,
and that's what you should be doing. Right.
Yeah.
So
now some of those games haven't looked the way that maybe you thought they were going to look, but wins are wins.
Right. I mean, W's are W's. Have they been maybe closer than you thought, some of them? Sure. But and at the end of the day, you walked off with a win. Now you get Clemson after Gardner-Webb, and you kind of get little, and look, the SEC is a bear. There are a lot better teams than Clemson running around the SEC.
By the way, you're going to lose SEC games. I would just go ahead and put that out there.
Really?
Nobody goes undefeated in conference. Look, if you can go 500, if you can split 15-15, you're doing good.
Yeah, if you handle your business in the non-conference and you go out there and you run 500 in the SEC, obviously you're in the dance.
Yeah.
And you've had a solid first season, especially when you're picked near the bottom of the SEC.
Yes.
So, look, I like the fact they're doing a lot of little things well, the little things that weren't done consistently well for the last so many years. They're being done. They pitch, they pitch much better. They throw more strikes.
Play good defense.
They're playing. I mean, the defense is really the thing to me we don't talk enough about.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It is much like an offensive line in football. The key is to not be talking about it. When we are not talking about defense, that's because everybody's doing their job. They're fielding their grounders. They're grabbing their pop flies. They're not getting, stumped by certain plays and stuff like that. So when the defense is playing well, we don't talk about it. Now we're talking about it now because it is a change from what we saw a year ago. But you had Petrie and Jackson clean.
Yeah, and that's what you want. And it's always the routine play. I mean. Yeah, you dive around and make a spectacular play. That's great, but what do you do on the routine play? The three hopper right to you. Do you boot that or do you make a play?
The ones you're supposed to make in your sleep.
Yes. I mean, I'll trade spectacular plays any day for the guy that sits there and you hit him 100 ground balls and he fields 98 of them clean or 99 of them clean and throws you out. You want a team of guys in the infield where there's 2 outs in the ninth inning and there's a runner on third. You want the ball to be hit to those guys. That's where you want to get defensively. Is you're not sitting there at all going, please, God, don't hit the ball to fill in the blank.
Yeah, because guess what? They get the ball hit to them.
Ball finds them.
How many times that happened to LeCroy last year at the end of the season? Like, just please don't hit it to third. Please don't hit it to third. Hit it to third.
You know what LeCroy was thinking the whole time?
Please don't hit it to me. Please don't hit it to me because guess what? They're going to hit it to you.
Don't hit it to me. One of the best stories about that, this is old school baseball story. Dodgers had a guy named, this guy named Steve Sachs played second for the Dodgers. He was a rookie of the year. He had a solid career, but he went through a period where he had the yips.
Yeah, that's
and he
real.
couldn't throw the ball to first base, and he was playing second.
Oh, that's
so
tough.
Sachs was really struggling throwing the ball to first. So the Dodgers had put a guy named Pedro Guerrero at third. Pedro Guerrero was a phenomenal hitter, but honestly had an iron for a glove. And the Dodgers were in this thing with Tommy Lasorda. They moved guys all over the place because they cared about getting offense, in the lineup. So they moved Guerrero to third, and he was terrible, right?
Yeah.
So Lasorda, they're having a team meeting or something, and he's trying to, get the guys to relax and play better, especially defensively. He looks at Guerrero and goes, Pedro, when you're playing third base, what's going through your mind? He goes, two things, Skip. Well, he goes, one, I sit there thinking, please, God, don't hit the ball to me. He goes, really? You think that? He's like, yes. Please, God, don't hit the ball to me. He goes, what else are you thinking? He's like, God, please don't hit the ball to Sachs.
Oh.
So, I mean, you don't want that defensively.
No, you don't.
And right now you're seeing a team that's fielding the routine, making the routine plays. They're not putting themselves in bad positions by giving away a ton of extra outs. You see the pitchers have been striking out more guys than most thought. By the way, the over-under hit the over,
yes,
baby.
Yes, it did.
Woohoo.
Yep, off to a great start.
Lots of strikeouts. But the other thing is, it's just, when you're a pitcher, and you know this, you played baseball, when you have confidence with the guys behind you, you feel more confident in throwing pitches where if they are hit, then guys behind you are going to make the play. Because if you don't have any confidence, then you start trying to strike out everybody.
Yeah, I can't let them put this ball in play because I'm going to have the bases loaded in the blink of an eye. When you have confidence in your defense, like, okay, I can throw what I want to throw, and if they put it in play, I feel confident in the guys behind me taking care of business.
Because everybody always says pitch to contact, pitch to contact. That's great if you have confidence behind you.
Yes.
To pitch to contact. So these little things have been going. And look, base running's had a couple of moments, but for the most part, they've run the bases pretty well. They're getting quality at bats with runners on base, and especially runners on base less than 2 outs. They're, moving runners, bringing in runners. That's the one thing that we can take from the first couple of weeks of the Palmineri era is they're going to do the little things correctly.
Yep.
And obviously, you got to do more than just that to win games against really good teams. But you know what happens a lot of times, Tyler, when you're playing a really good team and you don't beat yourself?
Usually win.
You win games.
Yeah.
It's one thing I've noticed in college baseball, and I think we had this conversation before the season started. The one thing I've noticed watching college baseball intently the last 4 years is how many teams beat themselves. Just bad defense, pitchers who can't throw strikes, walking a bunch of dudes, hitting a bunch of batters, not doing the little things correctly.
Yep.
And the one thing we've seen with this team over the first couple of weeks is, for the most part, they're doing the little things correctly that don't beat you.
Again, the competition level is going to step up, so you got to continue that. But what we've seen through 8 games looks good.
So baseball undefeated. All I know is this. Gamecocks men's basketball this past weekend also undefeated.
We should have a parade today, to be honest with you.
Oh, man, that was nice. I'm watching it. I think I told you upstairs earlier we were talking. I was actually talking to the TV. And I don't do this anymore. I haven't done this in years. But I'm looking, and nobody's there but me, so I'm just basically talking to myself. But when Colin Murray Boyles fouls out, I'm talking to the TV.
You
I'm
thought
like,
there it was.
My first thought was, you can't pick up your 5th foul there. And then I watched the replay, and I'm like, oh, my God, ref, what were you seeing? I mean, that really wasn't a foul. And so, and then I catch myself and go, wait a minute, I'm talking to the TV, and no one's here. I got to chill. So I got so ramped up with the idea they could actually win a basketball game that I'm talking to the TV.
Yeah, but you saw it, right? You saw, oh boy, here it comes. There goes your best player. He's fouled out. You only played half of the second half. Here's where the wheels come off.
And Texas starts to press. South Carolina, who had done a great job taking care of the rock the whole game, started to get loose with the ball. And I'm sitting here going, oh my God, the lead's down to 11. Oh no.
Yeah.
To their credit, they made their free throws. Morris Ugasuk hit a couple of big threes. And, Texas did what Texas did for 40 minutes, and South Carolina gets their first W. I'll say this real quick. I was surprised Texas didn't press earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nothing was working. South Carolina's having their way with you at both ends of the court. What's the one biggest problem this basketball team has had all year? Protecting the basketball.
Yep.
I don't know why Texas didn't press early, but thank God they didn't. take the W, baby. And, of course, the women also won this weekend as well, easily over Vandy. We're going to hear some sound from Paul Maneri and also Lamont Paris and Dawn Staley coming up. It's a halftime show. Terry Ford, Tyler Head, roll until 3 here on The Game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
Listen to Gamecocks baseball on The Game. And if a Gamecocks batter hits a grand slam,
you could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash in the Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union Grand Slam giveaway. Go to 1075thegame.com and register. Brought to you by Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union and The Game.
107.5 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevy Studios. You can save up to $20,000 on new Silverados. Stop by or shop online today and see how Herndon Chevy makes you smile. Together, let's drive. The South's biggest tailgate event will be the 90th running of the Carolina Cup races, presented by MUSC Health. Come celebrate spring with friends and family in Camden, South Carolina. For tickets and details, go to carolinacup.org.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample Rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. The best selection of new Chevys. Right now. No hassle, no ridiculous add-on stickers. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Are you considering a new roof or repairs but unsure where to start? Crescent Construction offers free roofing estimates to help you make informed decisions with ease. Our expert team is ready to assess your needs and provide comprehensive insights. Visit our website, crescentcarolina.com, to learn more about our services and schedule your free estimate today. Trust us to guide you through the process with professionalism and care. Don't wait. Contact us today at crescentcarolina.com.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa Hostetler-Brown. If you or a loved one are over 65 and haven't completed a long-term care planning consultation, now is the time. Did you know that if you aren't able to afford the high cost of skilled care, your assets can be rapidly depleted to only $2,000 unless you plan 5 years in advance? Visit lawyerlisa.com to see how we can help.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Honey!
What's wrong? I thought you already left for work.
The garage door is broken. It won't open and I can't get my car out. I can't miss this meeting today. Everyone is coming in for it.
Relax. I'm texting OGD right now.
What is OGD?
OGD, Overhead Garage Door. They're the garage door experts in Columbia. Take my car in the driveway and OGD will handle the garage. They have same-day service and they'll get the garage door fixed today. Fast and easy.
Wait, with just one text you can get our garage door fixed same day by OGD?
Yes, OGD will get it done no problem. Now, you need to get to work and let OGD worry about the garage door.
Garage door broken, stuck, slow, or squeaky? Text OGD, the only name you need for your garage door. Text TIGHT to 200-300 right now. Text right now and get an exclusive link to special limited time savings. Don't wait. Text the word TIGHT to 200-300 now. Text TIGHT to 200-300.
Firehouse Subs is excited to introduce for a limited time their delicious French dip sub. This hearty and craveable sub starts with premium roast beef loaded with caramelized onions, melted Swiss and provolone cheese, and topped with Italian seasoning, all on a toasted garlic bread roll and served with hot au jus for dipping. Visit any one of their Columbia locations to try it today, or you can skip the line and download the Firehouse Subs app. Be sure to support the Firehouse Foundation by rounding up your donations to help local fire departments purchase life-saving equipment.
Serving families in Columbia and the surrounding areas, Lever Repairs is your preferred independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. Take advantage of tax credits and rebates of up to $2,400 for total unit replacements. Ready for an exciting new career with great pay? Join the Lever Repairs Incorporated family. Go to lever-repairs-inc.com/careers. Join a family-friendly business. With decades of experience and excellent employee benefits, Lever Repairs is your #1 choice. Call today, 803-333-0737.
Halftime Show with Terry Ford and Tyler Head on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
Lifted in the air, left field. Going back is Phillips at the wall. It's off the top of it. It's gone. Grand slam. Jace Woida, his first home run as a Gamecock, is a go-ahead long ball in the bottom of the sixth. 5-2 Gamecocks.
There it is, Jace Woida, grand slam, $150.
Yep. Literally, the promotion just started. Already won somewhere $150.
Remember last year?
Took forever. I forget. Was it the SEC tournament? Did it get that late?
SEC tournament.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, it built up a good little pocketbook there.
I remember, because I think it got higher than the special teams contest.
I think it did, because we didn't have one in the special teams contest this year.
I know we just had to give away $1,300 at the end of the year.
Yeah, so $25 every single game. Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union, and they I don't think they thought they were going to be shelling it out that fast.
I know. So, Jace, nice job, man.
He's off to a solid start. He's third on the team in batting average right now. I know he wasn't a day one starter, but he's coming in that DH role, and he's a big guy, powerful guy, and he put a charge on that ball, that's for sure.
Yeah, he nailed that thing. And you're right. I mean, if Jace continues to be productive, he'll get himself more opportunities and more opportunities. And there in the beginning, it was like they felt like they were rotating the DH spot. But if Woida can, bring consistent production, you might have to scrap that idea and just roll with Jace.
Yeah, and look, we're in that experimental phase of the season where you're trying different things, and they've shifted around the 2-hole and stuff like that. In this lineup, and tried a couple different things to kind of figure out what's going to work best for you. And as the competition level starts to ramp up here in a couple weeks, or starting this week with Clemson, Jace Woida making a very good case for himself to be a part of that.
And of course, South Carolina get it going again tomorrow.
Yes,
as well. And they'll be obviously after you get rid of the Gardner-Webb game, then you have 3 with Clemson, and you kind of get, like I said, a little taste of where you're at. As a baseball team early in the season. Speaking of Paul Mainieri, let's get cut 9 there, Tyler. Mainieri talking about how good it felt to pull a weekend sweep over Milwaukee.
Well, it was good to finish off a weekend. Hey, Tyson. Good to finish off a weekend and, anytime you sweep somebody, it's a tremendous feeling. And I thought all weekend our guys played really well and capped it off today. These 2 guys next to me obviously had big days for us, and it was nice to see us swing the bats and make John Whittle happy that we ruled somebody today. Who was it that asked me that question yesterday? Was it you, John? I don't remember. Anyway, it was good to get a lot of guys in the game today. I kind of wish that kid would have made a good throw across the field so we could have got Caleb Jones and Roman Kimball in the game in the 9th inning. But, we had agreed to the 10-run rule, so the game ended with that play. But that's not to take anything away from the way that we played overall. I thought we swung the bats extremely well. I thought Jake McCoy threw well. I took him out of the game because of pitch count. He gave up the 3-run homer in the 2nd inning, and then the rest of the inning he dominated. But the other 3 innings, he get the first 2 guys out and then let a guy get on base, and so that drove his pitch count up. And so his pitch count was almost 80 pitches, which was an average of 20 pitches a game. So, it's the next lesson that he has to learn is to, have a killer instinct and finish it off an inning so that he keeps his pitch count down and allows him to pitch longer. And we're probably going to need him to come back on 1 day less rest next weekend against Clemson. So that was another reason why I decided to take him out there and not push it too much for his recovery. So anyways, good win. And
yeah, there you go. There's the breakdown of the weekend. And I love, a coach that, despite run ruling, bottom of the 8th inning, dang, if he would have made that throw, could have got a few more guys in there.
I love the idea, that kid in Milwaukee would have made the bleep and throw. We could have got some more guys in. I thought it was an interesting breakdown about Jake is, you got to be able to finish innings.
Yep.
You get 2 outs, you got to get out there and you got to finish the inning. And instead, McCoy gets his pitch count up and he has to come out of the game after 4. You got to get that in your head now to start. How do you finish an inning? And you got to be aggressive. Got to have that killer instinct, like Paul Maneri said. And you just got to. You can't. Once you get 2 outs, you can't fiddle around. And all of a sudden, you got a guy or 2 on base. Now your pitch count's going up, and before you know it, you're giving the ball up after 4.
Yeah.
Because besides the 3-run homer, you saw a lot of good from McCoy. But a lot of guys got in the game yesterday. 3-game sweep against Milwaukee. And again, Gardner-Webb Tuesday. You can hear that game on our sister station, 98.5 WOMG. We have men's basketball Tuesday here on the game against Missouri. That's an 8:30 pregame, 9 o'clock tip. The Gardner-Webb is 6:45? No, 6:15 pregame, 6:30 first pitch. Again, that'll be on 98.5 WOMG. All right, speaking of the men, finally getting that elusive W in SEC play, beating Texas. Here is Lamont Paris. Cut 2, Tyler. Nerves Lamont was feeling when the Longhorns cut that 22-point lead down to 11.
I mean, honestly, you would always rather draw it up that way as a coach, for sure. It would be nice to coast a 22-point win, and there would be a lot of celebrations happening, but just as a reminder, and for our benefit tomorrow while we're watching film, hey, look at this situation. Here's the decision that we made in this situation, right? And then not only is it that isolated decision, but then 3 decisions later, that guy made his decision, which is a even dicier decision based on what's already happened. And so we need to continue to learn in those situations, because that's what's really cost us in some of these games is some of our decisions, which are the most controllable things. Now, you can always counteract decisions with incredible play. I think you can always do that, but it's hard to just summon incredible basketball play whenever you need it. So I think the decisions is a little bit easier, but I think the way it worked out probably was better for us. I thought we did a good job of regrouping. I used some timeouts. I think we did a good job of regrouping, taking the moment in, seeing what we had done, and then stepping up, making free throws, getting the ball across half court aggressively, all the things that you needed to do when you have been fortunate enough to build a lead to bring the ship home.
Yeah, look, obviously Colin Murray-Boyles was really good through most of this game, attacking the basket, having his way with the Texas front court. Jamari Thomas didn't force but a couple of shots, played more within the offensive structure, it seemed like the team was making a point. Let's start the offense through Colin Murray-Boyles, at the elbow or, in the post. Let's not just jack up threes. Let's go to our strength and build from there. And, and Ugasuk's huge threes in the second half that were their last 3 field goals, I think, Tyler, were his 3-pointers.
Yeah, and look, he's had his ups and downs this year, been a little bit cold as of late, but hot on Saturday. And look, it was a team effort, obviously, but Colin Murray-Boyles kind of being that assertive, selfish player that, Coach Paris talked about wanting to see him be, because he's the best player on the team. There's no doubt about that. And you appreciate the fact that he's trying to spread the ball around, trying to get his teammates their opportunities. But, man, sometimes you just got to take the game over. And he did that in the first half, scored his 16 points, ran into foul trouble and fouled out, like you said, in the second half. That prevented him from maybe doing even more. But he was a big reason why they won this game. And all around, best played game of the season on all fronts, offense and defense. And finally got over that hump of winning a conference game.
And got to the line 45 times. And made, 76% of your free throws.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Nick Pringle struggled again, 1 of 4. But for the most part, guys went and Jamari Thomas was 12 of 13 from the line.
Specifically in the last 3.5 minutes, 9 of 14 from the line. Not perfect, but how many times we've seen them in those situations where they end up going, 3 of 14 or something along those lines. You made your shots at the end. You didn't turn the ball over a ton, one time by Zachary Davis, so good closeout and got your win.
Yeah, and speaking of Zach Davis, he played within, and it's a dumb saying, playing within yourself, but Zach Davis did. He wasn't out there doing kooky things he shouldn't be doing. He played to his strength, and for the most part, he had a nice game, and he hit free throws as well. All right, we'll continue on. We'll get some Dawn Staley coming up, and also, just in case you woke up, we'll give you the headlines of the day of sports. Halftime show, Tyler Head, Terry Ford, till 3 on the game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free.
There's no better place to spend the spring than at Ray Tanner Field at Founders Park, cheering on the Gamecocks baseball team. Single game tickets start as low as $12. Visit GamecocksOnline.com to get your tickets today.
Sports Trophies is here to meet all of your award and recognition needs. Don't let the name fool you. They are much more than just sports awards. They can provide you with everything from trophies, plaques, crystal awards, acrylic awards, name badges, and that's just for starters. They provide awards and recognition for schools, universities, churches, associations, corporations, small business, and of course, anything sports related. Call 803-798-8686 or email to sportstrophies@gmail.com. And go Gamecocks! Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Start your spring cleaning early with Zerust Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. For this month only, mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $119 plus a free staircase. Book online at ZerustColumbia.com.
It's the season of love right now at Love Chevrolet. Just close your eyes and imagine driving off with an overwhelming sense of satisfaction. Cared for, respected, confident, knowing you just got the deal of a lifetime. That's a love story, and that's been going on for 64 years at Love Chevrolet, your trusted hometown Chevy dealer. Whether it's the heart-pounding Silverado or the captivating value of the Trax, Love has the new Chevy that'll make your heart skip a beat, with plenty for you to touch, feel, and experience for yourself. No gimmicks, no ridiculous add-on stickers, no hassle at Love Chevy. And don't forget about the $1,000 low price guarantee. So what's your love story? Find out today during the season of love. I-26 in Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
That's the power of love. Love Chevy. Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa Hostetler Brown. Do you know the difference between a revocable trust and an irrevocable trust? The difference could easily save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in long-term care costs. Visit lawyerlisa.com to schedule a consultation today.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Daddy, you need a trust.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
Why? Because you're not playing me.
With rapid-fire takes.
Y'all went from the Super Bowl straight to the toilet bowl. He's not over the NFL. The NFL is over him.
Scorching debates.
All the good, all the bad, all the ups, all the downs.
He's the Spitfire of sports smack.
Sorry for what I said because it was appropriate when I said it, but I can't say it anymore, dude. You are killing the game.
The Jim Rome Show podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Just in case you just woke up, here's what's happening in the world of sports. Sponsored by The Gutterman.
Protect your biggest investment. Call The Gutterman at 803-791-7147.
All right, we are hanging out here. Get you caught up, just in case you woke up, rolled over, haven't really been paying attention to what's happening, having a chance to scroll around what's going on in the sports world. Before we get to that, though, we want to get some Dawn Staley in here from the weekend. We got Paul Maneri and Lamont Paris.
Yep.
Malaysia Fulwali, again, excellent game, some highlight-type plays, but also efficient.
Yes.
She was very efficient yesterday against Vanderbilt.
You almost kind of wonder, and I go back to last Sunday when they lost to UConn, and Dawn, said specifically the loss really affected her, which affected everybody, but her specifically is somebody that she pointed out. You almost kind of wonder if that lit a different kind of fire under her. Because, again, she's probably never dealt with a loss like that in her entire basketball career, going back to when she was a kid, because she's always been a great player, always played on high-level teams, state championship teams, the whole 9 yards. That may have kind of struck a chord that kind of takes you to the next level. And, God, if she can keep playing like this, then this team's going to be hard to stop.
Yeah, I mean, you throw her in the way Joyce Edwards has been playing. Nobody brings that kind of deal off the bench like South Carolina. And then you had Tessa Johnson.
Well, and that's the crazy part is you look at, again, Fulwili and Joyce Edwards, kind of the start of the show once again yesterday. They are coming off the bench. They are not even in the starting five. There are 5 very talented girls that start the game, and then you have those, phenomenal stars that come off the bench, which, again, for any team that that's going up against you, that's just got to be depleting to know that they just get better as soon as they bring in that second wave of talent.
Now, again, you have, you have Ole Miss left, and you have Kentucky,
yes,
I believe.
That's it for the regular season.
Ole Miss is above 500 in league. Kentucky's ranked.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're not getting...
You should handle your business.
You should.
Yeah.
And then you move on to the SEC tournament.
Which
now,
that could be interesting this year.
It could be, because fair or not, we've seen South Carolina. No one's going to go undefeated every year. It's ridiculous to think that. But you saw a pattern in these losses, and that South Carolina being out-physicaled, or South Carolina not getting a ton of transition points and then not being consistent running their half-court offense. So there are things, Tyler, that are consistent in their losses that they have to clean up, or it'll bite them at some point in the NCAA tournament.
Right.
But they should handle their business. The SEC tournament is going to be interesting with Texas and LSU. So we'll see where it goes. And Tennessee's been good this year. There are some teams in the SEC that if you come out there with your C or D game,
sure,
you could have yourself a fight on your hands.
I mean, look, it took a miracle shot by Cardoso to win against Tennessee in the semifinals of the SEC tournament last year. So this is always, and especially when you're playing games back to back to back to back in consecutive days, that's always going to be tough, right? So a tournament, setup is different. And again, Dawn Staley, one of the, if not the best tournament coaches we have in women's college basketball as of right now. So, I was giving the benefit of the doubt. But when you run into the LSUs, when you run into the Texas, it's not going to be a walk in the park. Now, could they go run the table and win the SEC tournament once again? Absolutely, and that wouldn't surprise any of us. I think a lot of us are kind of looking ahead to the actual NCAA tournament more than anything. Like, okay, we know they're going to be in, likely going to be a top seed once again. What happens when you get into that Elite Eight, Final Four, even Sweet 16? You run into some of these tougher teams from around the country that you've had problems with, like UCLA and UConn.
Yeah, and look, UCLA, again, they can beat you up inside. UConn, it was just a weird game, man. UConn played phenomenal. South Carolina played terrible. It was just bizarre. Very bizarre basketball game. If you would have said UConn came in here, beat South Carolina by 5, I'd go, okay, happens.
Yeah. That's a great team. Great program.
What happened that Sunday, I'll never forget. I had to look at the score 4 times.
Yeah,
because I was out of town.
You didn't believe it, or you saw like the halftime score. You're like, okay, rough start. They're going to go on a run in the second half, and they'll find a way to win this game by 10 somehow. And and as you're watching the seconds tick off, it didn't happen. And then you get at the end, and I mean, the shock of people in Colonial Life Arena, I think, said most of the story. Like, this just doesn't happen to this team. And were they overconfident? Did they just not have their best game that day? Whatever it may be, you have faith in Dawn Staley and her coaching staff that won't happen again. They're going to continue to put their best foot forward game after game, but the fact that you've seen it happen this year, and, the UCLA game was not as bad as that was, but it's like, okay, when they get into these games, I have this little doubt in the back of my mind that maybe they lose this game. Maybe they don't get to the Final Four. Maybe they don't go back to the national championship game, which, again, for this program is almost unheard of at this point, but it could happen.
Yeah, I mean, look, what you've seen is that these consistent things that have been a thing can bite you later on in the NCAA tournament if you don't get them straightened out. Here's Dawn talking about Malaysia Fulwiley and just about how she has developed and is continuing to develop. Cut 19.
I think Malaysia's a pro. I think we're just giving her the tools to operate in that space because it's not just one way. You have to be multifaceted when it comes to playing at that elite level. Like, talent-wise, she's got the talent, speed, athleticism. She has all, elite, all of that. Now is the crux of playing in the league. How do you handle certain situations? How you handle starting or not starting? How you handle, when you go 0 for 4, right? You got to defend. So it is all of those things that we're adding to what she already has brought to us, because ultimately she wants to be a pro. And if she wants to be a pro, there are things that we have to add. Like, we're not trying to take anything away from her. We just want to add to what she already brought to us.
Yeah, I mean, look, she's obviously fantastically talented.
Yep.
That's a no-brainer, but it's just some of the other things in her game. If she can get more consistent and more efficient to go with the spectacular moments.
It's so easy to forget. She's not even through 2 full years. She is still a true sophomore. Was she 19 years old or whatever? Maybe she's not 20 yet. She's still young. And again, when she's been around making the plays that she has for a year and a half now, going back to that first game against Notre Dame in Paris, November of 23, we just think that she's more seasoned and experienced than she is, which she's got a lot of games under her belt, obviously, but there's still opportunity to learn, to develop, and continue to get better. And again, I really hope that UConn game that, she was definitely distraught over lit a different kind of fire that's going to propel her to this amazing run over the next month and a half that hopefully culminates with another national championship.
Yep, so we'll see. But yeah, Malaysia Fulwiley, if you can get her to where she is consistent and efficient, look out.
Yep.
And then you have Joyce Edwards, which she's done as a freshman, and if Tessa Johnson comes off the bench, you got, obviously Tahina Powell, Chloe Kitts, against certain matchups can really, can give you some production. They've got a lot of talent. They got McDonald's All-Americans all over this team.
Yep.
And it's just the
Much
idea.
to the chagrin of Kim Mulkey.
Yes. Because Kim Mulkey has no players that are any good.
She's got the local team from the YMCA.
Yeah, exactly. All right, just in case you woke up, some stories. Speaking of women's basketball, Notre Dame, top-ranked team in the country, got beat by NC State. A highly entertaining double overtime game in Raleigh where the Wolfpack take out Notre Dame. Notre Dame had won a ton of games in a row before that, too. So Notre Dame falls to NC State as the Irish went on the road. Joel Embiid in Philadelphia has had a rough year. We switch off to the NBA real quick. Embiid last season was phenomenal. This year, a shell of himself. He's got a knee problem that won't go away. He's had a multitude of injuries. He was benched the other night in the fourth quarter as the Sixers made a run. The Philly's been struggling. They've lost, I think, 7 straight now or something like that. And basically Philly, they looked at Embiid and said, why don't you go get your knee taken care of?
Mm-hmm.
The Sixers have been scuffling bad, and your best player isn't your best player right now. And the guy you brought in gave a lot of money to, Paul George, arguably could be having the worst season of his career. So, and by the way, he's skating on free because everybody's going after Embiid, which I think is kind of interesting. But anyway, Joel Embiid, now the Sixers said that Embiid's going to explore some different options about getting that knee taken care of. So we'll see what happens with Joel Embiid in Philadelphia. All right. In case you woke up, there's a couple stories for you, plus get a little women's basketball in. Firehouse sub text the hour next, 803-404-6100. And have you seen the Steve Smith story?
I have. Yes,
wow.
I have.
We're going to give you the PG version of it. Coming up here on the halftime show with Terry Ford and Tyler Head on the Game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
The Game Roadshow, sponsored by Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
The Halftime Show with Terry Ford and Tyler Head will be live at Griffin Pools and Spas, Thursday, noon to 3.
On the Game Network and on 107.5, the Game app.
This is Maggie Gray with a Sports Minute. The LA Rams have reportedly given Matthew Stafford and his agent permission to test the market to see what type of contract he could get if he was a free agent. We all know the NFL is a business, but I'm not really sure why the Rams are playing hardball with Stafford. Clearly, he can still play at a high level, and he gives them the best shot at another Super Bowl. I'm Maggie Gray.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Do you have sagging, soft, or bouncy floors in your home? Well, this could be a sign of rotten wood caused by moisture in your crawl space. Damaged wood in your crawl space can affect your home's foundation, and that can affect your home's value, and nobody wants that. Say goodbye to sagging floors and hello to a stable foundation. Contact Canty today for your free inspection at 803-424-8380 or visit cantycanfixit.com.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it! Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do...
Let's play something, Grandma.
...became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Imagine a scrapbook filled with all your favorite memories of 75 years at Darlington Raceway. Now imagine that scrapbook going 190 miles per hour.
Have you ever? No, I've never.
You don't have to imagine it. You need to get to Darlington, where the drivers of today tackle the track too tough to tame, just like they did your first time. NASCAR Throwback Weekend at Darlington Raceway, April 5th and 6th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com. Discover South Carolina.
Show with Terry Ford and Tyler Head on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
All right, Firehouse sub text the hour 803-404-6100. What do you got there, my man?
All right. This is in reference to Full Wiley. Robert says she still needs to learn, though. There are times when the ball just needs to be put in the basket instead of just being fancy.
Yeah, I mean, I won't disagree with that. That's what we talk about being more consistent, more efficient. There's times you don't need to make that play. You just make the basic old basketball play that ends up in a hoop.
Sure.
So. But yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. And we got our buddy, our Clemson buddy on the live stream, who's deciding that he's going to
He's taking issue with you, Terry.
Yeah. And the point being is what we said was there are teams that are ranked higher from the SEC than Clemson. 6 of them.
Yes.
If you look at the top 25.
Yep.
Number 1.
Based on the ratings or
Based
rankings.
on the ratings. And then there's 3 right behind Clemson at 13, 14, 15. So last time I had 6 and 3 is 9.
Yes.
So there are 9 SEC teams either ranked ahead of Clemson or right with Clemson. So the point being, D1 baseball looks at 6 teams in one conference ahead of Clemson. So we were saying there are teams in the SEC looked at higher than Clemson.
There you go.
So I believe someone's mouth is filled with Clemson cheeks.
We'll just leave it at that.
And we'll leave it at that. But thank you, Ian. We always enjoy your one-sided approach to everything. Thank you very much. All right. The Steve Smith thing is interesting.
Oh, how are we going to clean this up for radio?
You can't. The thing is, it's like, so Steve Smith allegedly, even though there's a lot of evidence that's been thrown out,
Yep.
allegedly
they have the texts.
had an affair. And Steve Smith's been married since he was at Utah.
Yeah.
He's got 4 kids.
Yep.
His wife and him have been together for a long time. The wife of the man that Steve Smith allegedly, the woman Steve Smith allegedly had the affair with, the husband.
Yes.
Because this was a married woman Steve Smith allegedly had an affair with.
Right.
The husband decided to open up the goods, so to speak, on social media.
Yep.
With a lot of text messages that are very graphic in nature.
Again, we say allegedly, but there's a lot of evidence.
There's a phone call that this man put out on social media. Did the person sound like Steve Smith?
Yeah.
Yes. In the world of AI, you can't say anything's for real, but...
Yeah, Steve Smith has a distinct voice that you feel like sounded pretty similar.
And so at the end of the day, it really... It's a lot of evidence.
Yeah.
Going toward all this. Look, I don't like to speak of morality because, look, again, nobody's perfect, especially me.
Sure.
But when this hit social media the way it did over the weekend, first of all, if that happened to me, I wouldn't be blathering my business all over the world.
I think it's more because, again, Steve Smith is a well-known celebrity person, to put it out there so it's not misconstrued, I guess. Like, hey, I'm the source.
Yep.
Here's what I have, type of thing.
And I think he's saying, because again, look, could he have done that if that was Edgar next door? Maybe.
No,
I don't
mean,
know.
It's not going to get the same,
right?
Run as it has.
But this guy laid it out. And of course, as soon as you send it to TMZ, it's over, by the way.
Sure.
And Steve Smith Sr. hasn't commented because, again, I understand you got to figure out.
Oh, you got a legal team that's telling you to keep your mouth shut.
Exactly.
Say nothing.
More importantly, you got a wife you need to turn around and talk to.
Yeah, there's that too.
There's that too.
Again, she's not. I don't think she's going to go with the innocent until proven guilty.
Oh wow, this is some stuff, man.
There's some hard evidence out there.
Yeah, there is, and it's just it's wow. And my guess is this guy went, well, you know what? Here's your big popular former NFL player. Here's what he's really about.
Yeah.
Because again, hell hath no a fury than a
woman scorned.
A woman scorned, or how about a married man scorned, or whatever. But this guy scorned, and he let the whole world know.
Yep.
And it's wow. It was, man, you very, very, even this world of social media, that was wow. You very rarely see anything like this.
Yep.
And this is the other thing, too, man. And forget this for a minute, but just in general, of relationships in the world of today where people can put anything out on social media now.
Sure.
I'm glad I'm with the same woman for 22 years, man. I couldn't be out in this world dating again. Whew.
It's different.
I couldn't do it. I could not do it. Her and I were funny. We were talking about this like a couple of weeks ago. We're like, we're just stuck with each other. After all this time, we're good. we're good.
She's put up with you for this long.
Exactly. And she's like, after all this time, screw it. We're in. Might as well just run this thing right on out to we're in the nursing home or something. But if you're not, man, if you're in this world dating today,
yep.
Whoo! There's no privacy. Nothing. You think something's private, and all of a sudden you pop up on your social media, and the girl you're dating has put something out there, or the guy you're dating's put something out there, and you're like, oh, ooh,
nope,
ouch. See, that was a fun little thing to see over the weekend.
Yep.
Man. All right, football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors. College Football News put out their top 100 players returning. South Carolina has 3. We'll get into that coming up next. It is the halftime show with Terry Ford and Tyler Head. We're running on till 3 on the game.
107.5 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevy Studios. You can save up to $20,000 on new Silverados. Stop by or shop online today and see how Herndon Chevy makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Seeing dust on your baseboards? Give your home a big refresh and call Zera's Air Duct Cleaning. Right now, mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, and you'll get $75 off your next air duct cleaning. Use promo code AIR75 when scheduling online at ZerasColumbia.com.
For appliances with Reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
Come see the entire line of Whirlpool appliances at 1421 Atlas Road. Whirlpool offers bigger, better, and more efficient appliances, and Jeffers McGill offers the best in customer service and low prices. Jeffers McGill and Whirlpool, your home team.
For appliances with Reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
The 2025 SEC Women's Basketball Tournament returns to Greenville, South Carolina, as Bon Secours Wellness Arena hosts the annual celebration of SEC Women's Hoops, March 5th through 9th. Join us and experience Greenville as you create memories and we crown a champion. Tickets are on sale now. Head to SECSports.com for more information. That's March 5th through the 9th in Greenville. SEC Women's Basketball. It just means more.
Discover the ultimate craft beer experience at Columbia Craft this February. Join us for Macro Monday, every Monday, 5p to 8p, and enjoy $4 macro pints. Whether Carolina wins or loses, post-game festivities are here for you. Swing by Columbia Craft on Green Street in the Vista. Elevate your game day experience with exceptional craft beer and a vibrant atmosphere. Celebrate with us. Your new favorite hotspot awaits. Columbia Craft. Craft beer famously hopped.
Hey, y'all, Jay Phillips here from my good friends at Dan's Fan City in Harbison. Ceiling fans don't sound like something you think about a lot because you don't really need to, but when you've got good ones, they work so well, keeping energy costs down and your comfort level up. All kinds of fans at Dan's Fan City, big to small and quiet, quality fans. They have accessories and light kits, fan blades, and more. Stop by and see them soon, Harbison Boulevard next to Total Wine, or call Dan's Fan City, 781-FANS. You'll be glad you did.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Enjoy up to 70% off premium products, designer handbags, gift cards from national chains, autographed sports memorabilia, cruises, hotel accommodations, and more. SweetDeals.com. Click premium.
Honey, would you take a seat? I have a confession to make.
What is it? What's wrong?
Well, I was out driving today and I saw some hookers on the side of the road. A bunch of huge, professional, beautiful-looking hookers. So I did what I was supposed to do. I slowed down and I moved over.
You slowed down for the hookers?
Well, yeah, it's the law. There was a whole fleet of Schroeder's towing trucks assisting with an accident. Wait, what did you think I was talking about?
Schroeder's Towing reminds you to slow down and move over for all first responders.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Get a free second pair of glasses with insurance at iMart Express. Now with an upgraded selection of over 150 frames to choose from. Pick one for when you're busy doing nothing, and one for when you're up for anything. Plus, with free same-day speed, go from booking an eye exam to walking out with new glasses in a blink. So you can take your vision benefits further, faster. iMart Express. Get glasses, go see.
the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. It's 1 o'clock. Time to talk football, and more football. Sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors on the Halftime Show, on the Game Network, and on the 107.5 The Game app.
It's football in the 1 o'clock hour, like always, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors here on the Game. Tyler Head, Terry Ford, we're hanging here at the Halftime Show. All right, so 3 Gamecocks make the college football network's top 100 players, which I thought was interesting. Top 100 returning players. So we're going to go to the easy ones. We're right down here to the... Go to the top 10 or top 11. At number 11 is Lenore Sellers. Doesn't really surprise you. A lot of momentum at the end of the year.
Yep.
Sellers is sitting at 11. Right ahead of him, by the way, Peter Woods of Clemson is at 10. Then you move through the top 10. You have the kid Strader, the DB from Auburn. Drew Aller, Penn State quarterback at 8. Whit Weeks, the linebacker at LSU. Who's coming back from an injury. Jeremiah Love, running back Notre Dame, who when healthy was a real weapon. Ryan Williams, who just turned, 12, 13, 14?
I think he actually finally had his 18th birthday.
Yeah, Ryan Williams, wide receiver at Alabama, is number 5. He started off real fast and then kind of disappeared a bit as the year went on.
Yeah, I mean, he had the monster game against Georgia, and we thought, this dude's on the way to win the Heisman Trophy, and had production throughout the year, but it cooled off.
Yeah, I think part of that was just inconsistency all around in the passing game. It just wasn't there for Alabama. Number 4, Colin Simmons, edge rusher from Texas, had a really nice freshman year at Texas. Number 3, Caleb Downs, safety, Ohio State. Number 2, some dude named Dylan Stewart, South Carolina. A College Football News Defensive Freshman of the Year. They talk about Stewart finishing the top 20 in the SEC, tackles for loss and sacks. So, Dylan Stewart, number 2. Number 1, Jeremiah Smith, Ohio State, to the shock and surprise of no one.
Yeah, again, the guy that many people said could have been a first-rounder at 18 years old. Yeah, no surprise.
First of all, he doesn't look 18.
No, it is not. He looks like a grown man.
Yeah, like my son would say, he's swole.
Like Ryan Williams looks, like you said, 12.
Yes. Jeremiah Smith looks 25, and he's 18. And so, Jeremiah Smith to the shock of no one, number 1. So South Carolina has 2 of the top 11. But the one I thought was interesting was the third one. At number 88, Nick Harbor, South Carolina. And what College Football News says, you won't be blown away by Harbor's stats accrued for the first 2 years, but the South Carolina Gamecocks young wide receiver spent much time learning the position and honing his skills. Last year we saw flashes of what he might look like when he was so good in the second half of the season. College Football News says, I fully expect Harbor to be unleashed as a bona fide weapon. His ludicrous athletic profile plus his 6'5" height and his 10'3", 200-meter speed could prove unstoppable. Yeah, I mean, physical skill-wise, it doesn't surprise me to see Harbor in the top 100. It's just the idea, we saw glimpses of it, like they said in that little piece, flashes of it.
Yep.
If he starts bringing that to the table game in and game out, those flashes become consistent wow plays.
Yeah.
You do have something there.
Look, he gets a benefit of the doubt because of the athleticism. If you look at any other wide receiver that's put up the numbers he's had through 2 full seasons, they're likely not going to be on this list. But because he's this freak athlete, and we talk about that freak athletes list that the guy on The Athletic puts out every single year. Guess what? He's been number one the past 2 years because he's this monster of a human that can run ridiculously fast. And anytime you watch him run in those track videos, it didn't look real because nobody that big should be able to run that fast and all that. So that kind of, we're all waiting for the blow up, right? We're all waiting for that moment where he just explodes and becomes that wide receiver we've been waiting for him to be. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. But again, you started to see the foundation for that get laid later in the season. He was being trusted more and more, being thrown to more and more, and you're slowly seeing that development of being a full, well-rounded wide receiver kind of come into play. And what, especially now, the fact that he's not going to be focusing on indoor track stuff early spring, that he's going to be a part of spring practice, what's that going to do to take him to an even bigger level? Because that was the knock on him this past year is, okay, he got a little bit of play as a freshman, caught some balls here and there, which is good. But then he spent the next 4, 5, 6 months away from football. He's in meetings and keeping up with what's going on, but he was in track shape. He was doing track things athletically. How much further did that set him back for the 24 season because he just wasn't playing football for basically half the year?
Well, so then we fast forward to this year and he's not doing it.
Yeah.
So does that tell you that he felt the momentum too and he felt like he was starting to get it? And he doesn't want to disengage from football for months at a time. He wants to continue on. He can still obviously run track, but is he now going to say, nope, this time I'm going through spring practice and the spring game because I felt like I was really making some progress and I want to keep my momentum going? And
I imagine the coaching staff, which again, they knew what the deal was when he came here. If he's going to play football, he's going to run track too because he has aspirations for the Olympics. So I don't think it was anybody saying, hey, you can't run track this spring, but I'm sure in some form of words like, hey, here's where you're at. If you were to have more time with football this offseason, here's where you can be when the season starts. Again, not force him into anything. Make the decision on your own. But if you're trying to develop as a wide receiver, this might be beneficial for you. You can still run outdoor stuff later on in the spring. He hasn't made a decision on that yet. But not running indoor and doing more football-focused things for at least the first couple of months, I think is going to go a long way.
Yeah, and look, yeah, and you said it. Look, South Carolina knew when they brought in Harbor, he was a serious track athlete. It wasn't like, yeah, man, you can run track when you feel like it. No, he's for real.
And guess what? If you tried to pull a bait and switch on him and said, well, I know what we said, but actually you're not going to be doing that, guess what? He would transfer.
No, I was going to say,
he's like,
right.
This is not what I agreed to.
Yeah, the old days of that are over because the guy's going to go, yeah, it's really cool. I'll be in the portal.
Exactly.
Now.
Yes.
So, with Harbor, it just feels like he saw the improvement. He got more comfortable, and he wants to keep it going. So Harbor's in the top 100 as well. And a lot of that, obviously, again, is physical ability. Like you said, Bruce Feldman's got him on the freak list all the time. He'll probably be in the freak list Hall of Fame before it's over.
He's a freak. It is not translated over to the results that we've wanted to see quite yet. But, again, you start to see that groundwork be laid. There's a chance.
Mm-hmm. And so we'll see where it goes. There's some interesting names on this list. Just flipping around and going through it.
I was perusing. There's some ones that stand out.
How about number 43, Omega Blake, wide receiver, Arkansas. Remember Omega Blake?
I remember Omega Blake.
Omega Blake now is on this list. He's 2 years later. Remember, he left South Carolina, went to Charlotte, had a nice year in Charlotte.
Yep.
I mean, he averaged like almost 25 yards a catch. And now he is at Arkansas going through the portal. And we'll see what happens, but sitting at 43, Omega Blake. I thought that was like, oh, I remember him. How about that guy? One of the early transfer portal targets for South Carolina was Kevin Concepcion, the wide receiver.
Yep.
Ended up going to A&M. He's sitting at 58 on this list, which I thought was interesting as well. No, 60. Our boy Diego Pavia.
In his
17th year.
12th year of overall college football.
Yes.
Listen, we saw the hype obviously built for him in season after the Alabama upset and all that kind of stuff, but an entire offseason of hype for him.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to be looked at as one of the best returning players in just the SEC in general this year. Because, like, look, does Vanderbilt win 6 games last year without him? Absolutely not.
No, not at all. I mean, they're still winning 2 or 3. I mean, just be honest. He made a huge difference in that football program, on and off the field. Absolutely did. I saw a couple other names in here that are quite interesting as you spin through this top 100. Our boy Nico at Tennessee, all the hype and all the talk. Remember last year, preseason Heisman, right? Remember that?
Sure.
And guess where he's at on this list?
he not?
76th.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, freshman year was okay. I mean,
wasn't great.
He struggled. There was the period of time where they couldn't score in the first half. Obviously, some questionable losses. Did make the playoff, which good for them. But I think if you polled the majority of fans, they'd say he definitely did not live up to the hype, at least in I know second year in the program, but year one as a starter.
Yeah, I mean, it's the idea that, everybody thought this and that and this, and it got to the point near the end of the year, it was almost like he was scared to throw the ball down the field. He had zero. It looks almost like his confidence got zapped. You watch that college football playoff game against Ohio State? It's like, wow.
Yep.
I mean, Nico was struggling. Again, look, Ohio State's really good. I get it. But, you're giving a lot of NIL money to Nico to play well in that game.
Yes.
And that's the thing. That's the world we live in now. I was reading a very interesting article, and we're going to get to piece this more together regarding South Carolina basketball moving forward. We're going to try to get to today or tomorrow. A little riff here on the show, but there's a big thing about Kansas State. Kansas State spent a ton of money in NIL for basketball, men's basketball.
Yep.
And it hasn't worked. They're most likely going to miss the NCAA tournament.
Right.
And some of the Kansas State players and even the head coach talking about the pressure that went down on these kids because of the NIL money. And everybody knew how much money Kansas State spent on NIL. So there's a ton of pressure on these kids because they're getting money. And so that's a thing that's out there now. And I guess one of the reasons why everybody wants to hide what these kids are getting in NIL money is they don't want that stuff coming down on 18 to 22-year-olds or 18 to 24-year-olds or whatever.
Right.
But at Kansas State, it's been a thing, and they struggle coming out of the gate, and there's been a ton of pressure coming from all places with fans and alumni at Kansas State saying, wait a minute, hey, you dudes are getting paid a pretty good amount of money here to miss the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
And, of course, there's people who give to collectives who go, I'm giving you $72.50 a month, and this is what you did with my money?
Yep.
It's a real thing. So I was circling back to Nico. Nico got a lot of money in NIL.
Like $8 million. Well, I know it's not all at once, but over the course of a couple of years.
So, again, you start to struggle and scuffle. You start to hear about, hey, bro, come on.
Yep.
You ain't just getting a Scully anymore. So how much does that affect not only Nico, but just some of these guys in general? But anyway, Nico's here. The other one I want to bring up, just because we talked about Josiah Thompson last year and the struggles that Josiah Thompson had starting at left tackle. And we always use Caden Proctor as the example at Alabama. Freshman year, Caden Proctor starting as a true freshman at left tackle, just like Josiah Thompson did last year. And just like Josiah Thompson, Caden Proctor got worked.
Yep.
Much better in his sophomore season. And coming into his junior year, Caden Proctor's ranked number 62 on this list. So the point is, yes, left tackle to be an 18 or 19-year-old, it's not a good place to be in the SEC.
Oh, it's the toughest position.
Yeah, and so the point is, Caden Proctor had a much better sophomore year, and a lot is being expected of him in his junior year because of that improvement. So Josiah Thompson could pop up and be a much better player in year two after going through what poor Josiah Thompson went through in year one as a freshman.
Sure.
So just some interesting folks on this list. At the top 100, again, college football network's top 100 returning players. So, but anyway. All right. Football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors here on the game. The Combine, you smell it? The Underwear Olympics is this week, pal.
Do I want to smell that?
No, not really.
Probably not.
Not really. Not at all. Well, we'll talk about Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, the Colorado teammates. What are they going to do at the Combine, and what are they not going to do at the Combine? That's coming up next. We do nothing but football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors. It's a halftime show. Tyler Head, Terry Ford on the game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
Listen to Gamecocks baseball on The Game. And if a Gamecocks batter hits a grand slam,
you could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash in the Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union Grand Slam giveaway. Go to 1075thegame.com and register. Brought to you by Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union and The Game.
107.5 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevy Studios. You can save up to $20,000 on new Silverados. Stop by or shop online today and see how Herndon Chevy makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
We talk a lot about the Nest there in the Vista on Gadsden and what they can do for your home. And if you're looking to just, maybe you want to put a new tub in the bathroom, you want new plumbing, you want new fixtures, new lighting. Maybe you would like to, upgrade the appliances, in your kitchen. One of the best things about the Nest is just the experience of the people there. Like, no offense, you go to some places and, they just hire someone to be the expert at everything when they really haven't done all the things you're supposed to be an expert at. At the Nest, if you call and let's say you want to get new plumbing, you'll talk to a plumbing expert. Appliances, appliance expert. Lighting, a lighting expert. Fixtures, an expert. People who know what's up. Just make that call, 803-978-2025. Set up an appointment. Go talk to the good people at the Nest, Gadsden in the Vista.
At Wells Fargo, we know what got you into your business. Whether it's manufacturing, running a restaurant, or your business from home. What you didn't get into your business for was banking. But luckily, Wells Fargo offers business checking, payments, and lending all in one place, in your neighborhood and on our app, so you can focus on doing what you love. Wells Fargo, you're good at business, we're good at business banking. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/business. Terms apply. Wells Fargo Bank and a member FDIC.
There's one way to stop the IRS from moving forward against you. That's to have an experienced attorney who understands the law and your rights. Hi, I'm local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. When you hear these so-called national tax resolution companies telling you your IRS problems can go away, ask yourself, does it sound too good to be true, or am I just talking with a salesperson? Will a licensed attorney handle my legal problem? An IRS problem is a serious legal matter. Don't trust your tax problems to some out-of-town TV spokesperson. Come meet with me in person, and together we'll take control. We've helped thousands of individuals and businesses with tax problems right here in South Carolina. Your first visit is completely free and confidential. So if you're facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, John Ecton, at 803-771-9800. That's 803-771-9800. Or go to EctonLawFirm.com. If you're a Carolina resident and you have an IRS problem, hire a Carolina attorney. Hire me, John Ecton.
At Angry Fish Brewing in Lexington, they believe in a simple philosophy. Drink what we can and sell the rest. Join them Wednesday through Sunday to experience some of the finest craft beers you'll find anywhere. Their year-round offerings include classics like Bomb Island, the refreshing Sunny Haze, and of course, the smooth Crescent Moon. You can always find these favorites on tap. And get ready for some new flavors and experiences that will tantalize your taste buds. So come on down to Angry Fish Brewing Company on Fabrister Lane in Lexington. Drink what we can, sell the rest.
You haven't tasted real Carolina barbecue until you've experienced Little Pig's Barbecue. Full service dine-in buffet with barbecue, ribs, brisket, chicken, rice, hash, tomato pie, macaroni and cheese, and many more of your favorites. Eat in or take out. Little Pig's Barbecue on Alpine Road has new hours. Now open from 11 to 8 Thursday through Saturday and 11 to 3 on Sunday. Little Pig's Barbecue on Alpine Road. Little Pig's family looks forward to seeing you. Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass. Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app.
The Halftime Show with Terry Ford and Tyler Head on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
Talking nothing but football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors. On the Game, Tyler Head, Terry Ford, halftime show. Dave worked early. He's moved on. Got a little doctor's appointment, which he'll tell us all about tomorrow. We'll get an update.
We love Dave. We know too much about what happens when he leaves here at times.
Yeah, sometimes Dave really goes down that wormhole of what happens at his medical visits.
Yeah, I don't need to know. I will trust whatever they told you and keep it between y'all. That confidentiality. That's right.
Yeah.
Like doctors can't talk about what they tell their patients and stuff like that. I think it should be the other way around. I think patients shouldn't be able to tell us what the doctors told them.
I have this. I have this open door policy. You can come in and tell me anything, right?
Sure.
Every now and then I regret my open door policy.
It's like, maybe the door's closed today.
Maybe I need a closed door policy for tomorrow for Dave.
Well, we'll get the full rundown
Yes,
tomorrow.
we will. Maybe we'll let Dave share it on the air.
If he can keep it PG. We thought the Steve Smith stuff was a little racy. I think Dave at the doctor might push the limits.
Yeah. It is lunchtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If people are listening to us while they're eating, that might not be the best move.
Exactly. All right. So at the Combine, which starts Thursday, the Underwear Olympics kicks in on Thursday. Shedeur Sanders, Colorado quarterback, looked at as the second quarterback in this draft and ranking behind Cam Ward, and will be the second first-round quarterback taken. That most likely will be it. Maybe a third quarterback sneaks into the first round somewhere because teams are so desperate for quarterbacks that they'll reach for a quarterback. I mean, that happens all the time. And usually when you reach, body parts get injured. And that's just what happens to NFL teams that reach for quarterbacks. You just don't do it. Then you're putting a quarterback in an unrealistic position to try to succeed. You can't do it. When you reach for quarterbacks that aren't first-round value in the first round because, we need a quarterback, you're just setting them up to fail because they weren't graded there for a reason. Now, again, are there misses? Sure, there are misses, like Tom Brady in the 6th round. Kurt Warner wasn't even drafted, played in the Arena League. But those are rare. I mean, let's just face fact here. Those are rare. But they do happen. But the good news is for those type of quarterbacks, there's no expectation level. Nobody's saying, that Tom Brady was picked. He was a 6th-round pick for the Patriots. Yeah, that guy better be a star. No, you're a 6th-round pick at quarterback. Most people think you're even making it out of training camp your rookie year. But when you're picked in the first round as a quarterback, there's an expectation you're going to be a franchise dude. You're going to lead your team to playoff runs, maybe a Super Bowl, whatever. And that's what you're looked at. And the patience to be that guy isn't what it used to be. Used to be you'd get to sit 2, 3, 4 years. Now you're lucky you sit 2, 3, 4 games. So when it's all said and done, you just have to, the clock has been sped up because of the rookie contract, and because you have a really good chance to win when you have a franchise quarterback on a rookie deal. So the quicker your guy gets to become a franchise quarterback, the better off you are because you have him on the cheap. So it's really just distorted this whole thing. So when you reach for a guy and draft him in the first round when you shouldn't, let's say Jackson Dart goes in the first round. Somebody, gets tingly over Jackson Dart's athletic ability or the way he throws a deep ball at the combine, whatever. I'm just making stuff up. And they decide because they're desperate for a quarterback, they're going to take this guy because of some physical traits. But now you put a guy who's not looked at as a first-round pick in the first round. Now expectation level ramps, not only with the fan base, but the organization itself, and then you've got a mess, conceivably, on your hands. Somebody will probably take a third quarterback in the first round. Probably not the right thing to do, but, it happens. But with Shedeur Sanders, he's going to go to the combine and just meet with the teams. He's going to take the meetings, but he's not going to throw at the combine. He's not going to do the drills and run around. He's not going to get out there and do any of the physical stuff. He's just going to do the interviews with the teams. I get it. It's probably because everybody's different in this situation, especially when you look at quarterbacks. If you're Shedeur Sanders, you're going to be the second quarterback off the board. You're going to be a top 10 pick. You really need to go out there and throw. Now, is Sanders going to throw at his pro day? We'll see. But you don't need to go out there and, jump on the field of the combine. Are you going to pass Cam Ward? Probably not. Cam Ward's got a bigger, stronger arm. And a combine setup is just better for Cam Ward. So if you're Sanders, do the thing that really matters at this point, and that's go meet with the teams. Let them get to talk to you. You go on the whiteboard and break things down for them. And you also show them the people there. And there are teams that are concerned about Shedeur Sanders' dad. Not that he's a bad person, but he's going to be hovering. He's going to be helicoptering around his kid when his kid becomes a pro. Now, I think that's true. I don't believe that will be the case. But is Deion a strong voice? Sure he is. Does Shedeur listen to Deion? Yeah, I would. So, yeah, if teams don't want to go down that road, they probably don't look at drafting Sanders. But if Sanders goes in and meets with teams and kind of alleviates that concern, that could help him with the amount of teams that are interested in Shedeur Sanders. So Sanders will not throw at the combine or do the workouts, but will meet with teams. Travis Hunter originally was just going to be a DB at the combine. Now there's talk that Hunter will also play wide receiver at the combine to, show off his versatility. I think it's going to be interesting what happens with Travis Hunter. I just do. I think it would be fun for Hunter to land with a creative franchise who wants to use him on both sides of the ball. Not 110 plays like, they ran him at Colorado, but just to legitimately play X amount of snaps on both sides of the ball. If you think, for an example, he's more valuable as a corner, fine. But also, give him some run at wide receiver. What makes him so special is his versatility. I think it would be sad if a team drafted Hunter and they said, "Okay, you're just a corner or you're just a wide receiver." I think if there are most teams, from what you read and hear, if they're going to pick one spot for Hunter, it's going to be corner. But also, he could really help you out at wide receiver conceivably. So I'd love to see him go to a creative team who wants to put a plan together to use Hunter on both sides of the ball.
You're doing him a disservice if you don't at least try it.
Yep.
Right? If you want corner to be his main position, that's fine. But if you have this weapon that you can use a variety of ways, why not give him a shot? That doesn't mean he's going to go play the same amount of snaps that he was back at Colorado on both sides of the ball, because that wear and tear of a NFL season will probably break you down pretty quickly if you're trying to do that. But if he gets, 10, 12 snaps on offense, why not? Situationally, depending on, where you feel like he fits best, why not do that? You're doing it a disservice if you don't at least give it a shot.
What makes him so special is the fact he can do both at a high level, right?
Yes.
So let him see how much he can do both for you in the NFL. We'll see. But, there's a lot of word going around that Hunter will work out as a wide receiver and a DB now at the combine, which I think is a smart thing to do again.
Yeah.
Show your versatility. Show you can go out there and do the wide receiver drills. You can do the corner drills. Hey, go cover yourself.
Yeah. How'd that work?
I don't know. Be pretty impressive.
So if you catch it, is it an interception or reception?
How are you covering yourself, and how are you trying to get away from yourself?
I leave that up to the experts.
Yes. I hurt my head. But so we'll see what goes on with Travis Hunter.
You could do one of those overlays, all right, you're going to run the route and then you're going to cover it. Or you can shadow it.
Yes.
And, put it together. So,
yes.
Okay, theoretically, could you have, covered yourself?
Wow, did you see how Travis Hunter covered Travis Hunter?
I know.
He is truly a special athlete. All right, up next, Matt Miller's big board. He's got top 50. We can continue to kind of look at the draft a little bit. A Gamecock did make the top 50 big board for Matt Miller. And the same Gamecock's only one in the top 75 for Matt Miller, which is a little different than Mel Kiper's.
Yep.
We'll get into that. And also, there's an NFL team who has a franchise quarterback who is letting that franchise quarterback go out and find what kind of trade value that franchise quarterback has or what kind of value that quarterback has on the open market. They're not trading him. They're just wanting to see what his value is. We'll go into what that really means coming back. Football and a lot of football and even more football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors. It's Tyler Head, Terry Ford halftime show rolling till 3 here on the game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network, powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass, shepherdsglass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia, The Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Imagine a scrapbook filled with all your favorite memories of 75 years at Darlington Raceway. Now imagine that scrapbook going 190 miles per hour.
Have you ever? No, I've never.
You don't have to imagine. You need to get to Darlington, where the drivers of today tackle the track too tough to tame, just like they did your first time. NASCAR Throwback Weekend at Darlington Raceway, April 5th and 6th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com. Discover South Carolina.
I'm with Stephen Samuels of the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm. So, Stephen, how does someone know if you're the right firm to handle their case?
Hey, great question. You know, each case is unique as the people involved. We're local. You meet with your attorney in person. That way you can tell firsthand if we're a good fit for you. We're a diverse practice, we pack a big punch, and our approach works.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Griffin Pools and Spas, your authorized Latham and Imperial dealer, is having their biggest sale of the year on all in-ground pools and hot tubs. Come by their location at 1348 North Lake Drive to visit factory reps and save thousands on in-ground pools with huge discounts and incentives on spas. Buy now, save, and enjoy your pool or spa all summer long. Let their family help your family build an outdoor oasis. Come see them February 27th through March 2nd at Griffin Pools and Spas.
Griffin Pools and Spas, we make you feel good.
Have any plans for Wednesday? If you do, cancel them, because you don't want to miss Free Fave Wednesday at McDonald's. That's right. McDonald's is giving away free menu items every Wednesday. Talk about a midweek pick-me-up. Just head to the deals page in the McDonald's app, and with your minimum $1 purchase, you'll score a free fave. What was once a humble hump day is now a free deal day. Score your next freebie with Free Fave Wednesday only in the McDonald's app. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Offer valid through 5/25/25 at participating McDonald's. Valid once a day. Excludes tax. Must opt into rewards.
NIL is more important than ever to success in college athletics. Our friends at Garnet Trust are trying to build the best NIL program in the country for South Carolina student athletes. Head on over to garnettrust.com where you can support Gamecock athletes, get access to exclusive content, and help build the best NIL program in the country.
It's a new year, Columbia, so why not stop painting year after year and do what Josh did? He called Rhino Shield.
We have a cedar-sided home at the end of the woods, painted like 1980s beige. We wanted something that was more of a mid-century and modern look. We were driving around and we saw a sign in somebody's yard said Rhino Shield. It's not paint.
It's not paint. It's better.
We gave Rhino Shield a call, and they were fantastic with the arrangement on schedule. The 25-year guarantee was important to us. This is our forever home, and we want to make sure that whatever we're doing is going to last a long time.
Columbia, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield now for 15% off the regular price.
I'd say if you're thinking about Rhino Shield, just do it. It's been 2 years now, and it still looks like the day it went on.
Here's owner Dan Hoey.
This offer's limited, so call today at 833-RHINO-99 or visit rhinoshieldcarolina.com. Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
When you're overwhelmed with tax debt, deciding what to do next is a true win or lose decision. You can lose your car, your paycheck, even your retirement savings. Or you can choose someone to help you win this battle with the IRS. Now is the time to tackle your tax debt, but you don't have to do it alone. Meet Priority Tax Relief, veteran-owned and the expert in tax debt resolution. Our priority is fighting for you. Our team has helped clients save millions and can reduce or even erase your tax debt. Call 800-961-3387 right now to talk to our winning team. Priority Tax Relief has a direct line to the IRS. That's right, a fast track to find out if you qualify for life-changing tax relief in just minutes. Priority Tax Relief fights to protect your money, has 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Why wait? Call Priority Tax Relief for your free tax consultation. Call 800-961-3387. That's 800-961-3387. Let's make your taxes our priority. Stop your tax debt now. Call 800-961-3387. What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet on the Game Network.
Halftime show. We're yapping football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors here on the game. Tyler Head, Terry Ford. Okay, so Matt Miller put out his top 50 for the draft. And, I mean, this thing is not like Matt Miller's going to have a wildly different big board than Mel Kiper, but there are going to be some things that are different.
Sure.
Matt Miller is Abdul Carter from Penn State. The Edge is the top-ranked player in this draft class. We've talked about this. Dude was a beast with one arm in the college football playoffs.
If you didn't know about him before then, you learned his name pretty quickly, and he didn't look like he slowed down a bit.
Carter was ridiculous. Travis Hunter is number 2. Will Johnson of Michigan is number 3. Will Johnson missed a decent amount of the season with injury. But Johnson's number 3 on the big board. His teammate Mason Graham, defensive tackle, is number 4. Your boy Walker, the edge at Georgia, is number 5.
Yep.
It's an interesting draft because if you look at this, like there's some people with Will Johnson. Well, he had the injury. I think it was a foot. Also, there's some talk about he's not explosive as an athlete. There's some issues about tackling, but you know what he does really well? Covers people. That's kind of important as a corner.
Yeah, it's probably
Can you cover people?
It's probably priority number 1.
Yeah, so Johnson, plus he's 6'2". So Johnson's at 3. And with Walker, Walker's entire resume is against Texas.
Yep.
If you look at his season, take away the Texas game, you go like this. But Walker went nuts against Texas.
Sometimes that's enough.
Mm-hmm. And Ashton Janty, the running back from Boise State, is 6th. Will Campbell, offensive lineman, LSU, 7. Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle, Texas, 8. Ty Warren, tight end, Penn State, 9. Jedi Barron, corner from Texas, is 10. A lot of these guys are ranked in the same neighborhood, like top 15-ish, even with Mel's board. You drop down to 28, you get Nicky Manwari from South Carolina. And that's it for South Carolina players in the top 70. No Demetrius Knight, no Kyle Kennard, no TJ Sanders. Matt Miller's big board only has Nicky Manwari.
That's covering the first 2 rounds and, 5-6 picks in the second round or third round.
So he's looking at it like you won't see any of those guys go. Well, I shouldn't say that because a lot of times, like for example, Ashton Janty is ranked number 6. Janty's not going 6th in the draft.
Oh, no.
He's a running back.
Yeah, he's definitely not going that high.
Right. Different guys get different value.
And he's not a generational type of running back. Now, if he was putting up those numbers at Penn State like Saquon Barkley was, sure, we can have a conversation, but I think the Boise State factor of this is going to not turn people away, but knock him down a little bit, saying, yeah, he's going to get drafted fairly high, but he's not a first rounder.
No. I mean, he'll probably end up, I can see him going somewhere in the bottom part of the first round of somebody. I could see it, but it takes a very rare running back to get picked in the top 10.
Yeah, because, again, nobody wants to pay running backs now outside of the 2 freaks that are the exception to the rule, and they had to prove that in the NFL before they got those opportunities, before they got those contracts.
98% of running back, no, I'll say 99% of running backs in the NFL you don't give a second contract to.
No. You just say, all right, we're going to go draft another one that's going to fill your spot, and you can go be a free agent somewhere. We don't care.
You can find a guy in the 4th round whose running style fits your scheme of run game.
It's fresher, that hasn't taken 3 years of punishment like this guy just did.
All right, these guys give, and your Falcons have a decision to make.
I know they do. Yep.
That's going to be an interesting decision because the Falcons drafted your boy real high.
They did. Let's see, Algiers the year before him.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
We'll see.
I don't know. And they have their own money problems with a certain quarterback.
Yes, they do.
That nobody's going to want to trade for.
No one wants to help them.
No.
So it's going to be interesting to see what they do about Robinson. It really is. All right. So I could see TJ Sanders going in the 3rd round, maybe second. A lot of people say 2nd round. I could see Sanders going in the 2nd round because he brings a special skill set from defensive tackle, which is he can rush the passer.
Sure.
So I could see that happening. Absolutely.
Look, we're in February. We got 2 months until this draft.
Long way to go, man.
And look, I know Kuiper puts out one every single week. Walter Football puts out one. There's mock drafts every other day.
Everywhere.
And I can guarantee you TJ Sanders is probably going to fluctuate between second and third round and all those things up until then. And again, it's all going to be based on team needs. And teams are going to draft, teams are going to trade and move around and all that kind of stuff. It's just really going to depend on who needs somebody with his skill set, when he's available, and he could go in the second round, go in the third round, fourth round, whatever. And it's so hard to guess.
And there's a value piece to this also, is like, what is the value of that player at that pick? And once you get into like the third round, for an example, and you get that third, fourth round area, like then a guy like Demetrius Knight comes into play because, his skill set and his value, positional value, and his grade, then they go like this. Okay.
Yeah.
We love the guy. This is the spot.
Yes.
No matter if Demetrius Knight runs 23 miles an hour at the combine and he's running past Hondas, it doesn't matter because of the positional value and the overall grade.
The combine is really for the true freaks to separate themselves, right? Like the guys that are just elite, your first round talents. Those are where they kind of really, they've already proven it on the field to a degree, but can really say, oh man, this guy's running a 4.240 and he can, jump this high and all that kind of stuff. That's where that kind of stuff really comes into play.
Smart organizations don't let the combine matter but so much, right? Yes. The tape is the thing. If I'm watching you on tape destroy people, right?
Yeah.
But then you go to the combine, and let's say you play really fast on tape. But we get you at the combine and you don't run a great 40. Am I going to say, well, forget the thing I watched on tape. He didn't run a great 40 in his underwear. No.
Well, look at Anthony Richardson at Florida. Again, for the intangibles and the physical attributes, 10 out of 10, right? Great at the combine and all that kind of stuff. And in college, he's nothing special. We watched him in college. Thought, he's okay. But they say, oh, man, the athleticism, we take him in our system. He's going to become this star. Okay, have fun with the project in the first round.
Right. That was my thing with Richardson. If you want to draft him in the second round, right, because of all of his physical intangibles, I would go, okay, I get you. Because if you nail it, oh, my God, did you nail it? But we talked about this before. He comes from two buckets of failure, accuracy and inexperience. Those are two huge buckets of failure in college when you get drafted in the first round as a quarterback.
Yep.
They just are. And he's got to overcome that. No quarterback has ever been taken that high in the draft with that big of a miss rate. But Indy decided to swing at him in the top 10, which was a mistake.
Yep.
And then they thought, hey, we've got a raw quarterback with mechanic issues. You know what we're going to do? Start him right away.
Yeah.
It just made no sense.
Yeah, it
makes no sense.
And it hasn't worked out yet.
Right. So when you fall in love with someone's athletic traits at a combine, or it felt like to the Colts, Chris Ballard has been looked at as a very smart GM, but I mean, I wanted to say to Chris Ballard, did you actually scout him or just watch his SportsCenter highlights?
Yeah.
But anyway, so right now, just on Matt Miller's big board, one Gamecock is in the top 75. It was interesting. Jason Reed, they were talking to Jason Reed this weekend on ESPN, who's one of the draft gurus for ESPN. And Reed put Nick Emanwari as one of the guys he really wants to watch at the combine because Emanwari is going to destroy it at the combine.
Sure.
He is going to run a fantastic 40. He's probably going to bench press a house 114 times. He is going to have a great combine. And that might be the thing that propels him into the bottom of the second round for sure, or first round for sure. Because, again, these teams, they'll see the speed and the strength and all that stuff, and they'll watch the tape this past year. Emanwari had his best overall season.
Yeah.
All that combined, I could see him getting into the bottom part of the first round. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, vaults him up a little bit.
Yep. But if you're just going to draft him off of the combine and kind of push his tape aside,
right,
that's probably not a very smart thing to do. But he had good tape.
Yep.
So we'll see. All right, football, and more football. In the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors. We get our Firehouse Sub text the hour next, 803-404-6100. It's a halftime show. Tyler Head, Terry Ford. We're going till 3 on the game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
The Game Roadshow, sponsored by Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
The Halftime Show with Terry Ford and Tyler Head will be live at Griffin Pools and Spas, Thursday, noon to 3.
On the Game Network and on 107.5 The Game app.
This is Andrew Perloff with a Sports Minute sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. The NFL Combine kicks off this week in Indianapolis. Colorado quarterback Jador Sanders will not throw. No surprise, the top prospects often wait till their pro days, but Sanders will still be the biggest topic of conversation. He's like no other prospect. It's hard to separate his fame and his last name from his play. He'll still probably go high, but expect Sanders to be one of the most polarizing QB prospects we've seen in a long time. I'm Andrew Perloff.
When you're in the thick of a project, Harbor Freight is the place that always comes in handy. Whether you're picking up something for your pickup truck or a power tool for your project, at Harbor Freight, your dollar always goes further. And these days, when everything seems to cost more, you can take pride in knowing that you get hard-working tools at hard-working prices. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Your old or broken phone can let you down, but at Verizon, trade in any old phone from our top brands and get iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence with a new line on My Plan and iPad and Apple Watch Series 10. After all, you don't want your old phone to die on you when you're lost.
Perfect.
Or for your broken phone to glitch at the worst possible time.
Hey, can I get your number? Oh.
Trade in your old phone for a brand new iPhone 16 Pro, iPad, and Apple Watch. Visit Verizon.com today. Additional terms apply. Service plan required for Apple Watch and iPad.
Progressive presents Renters MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Joe Fallon's bedroom mini fridge. Sure, this pint-sized chiller's max capacity is 3 soda cans, but what it lacks in stature, it makes up in cooling strength. Each beverage a perfect 37 degrees every time. And the 2 feet Joe walks to get a drink, priceless. That's why his mini fridge is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps getting better. Get our fastest connection loaded with benefits. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with auto pay and any voice line. Plus, Price Lock. We won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Guarantees regular monthly rate plan price of fixed wireless 5G internet data with qualifying service. After $15 bill credit with postpaid voice line plus $5 a month without auto pay with debit or bank account. Regulatory fees included for qualifying accounts. $35 connection charge applies. Speeds vary due to factors affecting cellular networks.
Looking for a tow that won't drive you insane? Schroeder's Towing has got your back and then some. With almost 1,500 Google reviews and a near 5-star rating, Schroeder's Towing is practically the most respected hookers in town. Whether you're stuck on the side of the road or just need a lift, our reliable service is always ready to roll. Call Schroeder's Towing today.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Have any plans for Wednesday? If you do, cancel them. Because you don't want to miss Free Fave Wednesday at McDonald's. That's right. McDonald's is giving away free menu items every Wednesday. Talk about a midweek pick-me-up. Just head to the deals page in the McDonald's app, and with your minimum $1 purchase, you'll score a free fave. What was once a humble hump day is now a free deal day. Score your next freebie with Free Fave Wednesday only in the McDonald's app. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Offer valid through 5/25/25 at participating McDonald's. Valid once a day. Excludes tax. Must opt into rewards.
The Halftime Show with Terry Ford and Tyler Head on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
We'll get our Firehouse subtext the hour here in a second, 404-6100. One thing we didn't get to real quick before we roll out of football and jump back into a lot of Gamecock stuff, baseball, men's basketball, and women's basketball. There's interesting talk of Matthew Stafford, Rams quarterback. The Rams are going to let Stafford. This is what's so interesting about sports today. The Rams basically said to Matthew Stafford's agent, reach out to NFL teams and come on back and tell us the value. We want to hear what Stafford's value is. Mm-hmm. Because they're working on possibly a contract extension for Stafford. But they also want to find out and gauge the value to see what other teams think of him if he were on the market, whether it's money, what they would trade if Stafford was available. To me, people go, why are you doing that? Simple. Find out what you could get for him. See what's there, see what the value is, and then you can say, wow, remember the quarterback market right now is not great.
Sure.
So maybe you can really get more than you typically would for a quarterback who, age-wise, is starting to creep up, getting near 40, but is coming off a pretty solid year with the Rams. I mean, when people look, God loves Sam Darnold. He had shocked the world with what he did last year till the last 2 games, and he became Sam Darnold again. But when you're talking about with a straight face that you're going to pull a Brinks truck up at Sam Darnold's house to be your quarterback, it shows you where you're at with the quarterback market. So, like everybody says, well, if Matthew Stafford becomes available, the Steelers should make a phone call right away and give Stafford whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Because the Steelers are really, I shouldn't say just a quarterback away, but having a real quarterback would elevate the Steelers big time. But again, here's the thing about this. I get the Rams, right, Tyler? I get let's gauge the market. Let's see what's out there. Maybe somebody will give us more than we ever could imagine to trade Matthew Stafford. We'll save money. We'll get younger quarterback. We'll get cheaper a quarterback. You know what else you might get to?
Worse.
Exactly.
Yeah, I again, credit Sam Darnold for the season that he had. Now, he does have the benefit in that Minnesota offense. He's got a lot of weapons around him. A lot of really good playmakers that, you know, I don't know how much of the success of the offense was specifically because he was playing quarterback. And again, it kind of fell apart, you know, there at the very end. And similarly, like Matt Stafford struggled when Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua were hurt. And when they came back, suddenly they kicked into another gear. So I don't think you're getting anything significantly better than what you currently have.
I look at it this way. Every quarterback is better when he's got better players around him.
Crazy concept.
We had this stupid idea that these guys are all like, you know, they're part of the Avengers or something. They have these superhero powers because look at Mahomes real quick.
Sure.
Has Mahomes been the same since Tyreek Hill moved off?
No.
No offense. Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. But he's not the same quarterback without Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
They've still won a couple of Super Bowls since Hill left, but that offense isn't the same.
Yep.
And it's not just not having Tyreek Hill. It's a multitude of things, but without Tyreek Hill, you're not the same explosive offense you were before.
Right.
Other guys matter in this thing. It's not. Last time I checked, does Patrick Mahomes throw it to Patrick Mahomes down the field?
He probably could, but he doesn't.
Would be funny if he did. It's just that's the idea to me. If I'm the Rams, I know what I have in Matthew Stafford, and I know I can get to the playoffs, and I know also that this guy he quarterbacked the last time I won a Super Bowl.
I was going to say, he has playoff experience, and that's valuable.
Yeah,
Sam Darnold, outside of the one game, doesn't really have that.
No, I'm not. I don't want to overthink the room. That position is different than all the other positions on the field. You don't want to put yourself in this mindset of, well, we can get younger and cheaper at that position. You also get worse, and also, guess what? You take yourself out of play. You can take yourself out of playoff position if you don't have a good quarterback.
Well, that's the thing is you're still within this bubble, and obviously won the Super Bowl a couple years ago, but you're still within the bubble where you're a serious contender in the NFC as of right now. And again, assuming everybody stays healthy, you can do that. Again, I know the receiver room may not look exactly the same, but Matthew Stafford plays well enough when the guys are around him are healthy that he can get you the playoffs, he can win in the playoffs, and all that kind of stuff. So, again, you're taking a very big risk by maybe shutting the door on your Super Bowl window if you back the Brinks truck up, like you said, to Sam Darnold, and he goes back to being Sam Darnold.
I think this. Most positions in the NFL, you have no problem getting rid of a guy a year or two early if it helps your cap situation.
Yep.
It's the exact opposite of quarterback. I'll keep a guy a year or two too late if he's a big-time franchise guy. You got to prove to me that you really aren't that dude anymore because I know what you are.
Sure.
I don't know what's going to come in here after you, and there's no guarantee I'm going to get anyone near your quality the next dude that shows up.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got there on the old Firehouse Sub text line, my man? 803-446-100.
Let's see here. RJ says, this is in reference to the Clemson game or Clemson series at the end of this week. Do you think Clemson may have an advantage this weekend because they've played a much harder schedule so far? Which, for reference, Clemson was at the Shriners Children's Showdown start the season, Oklahoma State, Arizona, Ole Miss, and then this past weekend they had Invitational with VCU and North Carolina A&T. So they played some higher-level competition.
Yeah.
They got run-ruled by Ole Miss, by the way.
Mhm.
But yeah, compared to what Carolina's played, they have played better teams. I don't know if that gives them an advantage going into the weekend or not.
No, I mean, they played some tougher competition. The other thing is Clemson right now is looked at as better than South Carolina. Again, Clemson's ranked 12th in the country.
Based on the rankings, yes, which, again, they didn't have a brand new coach. They didn't have, all this talent that kind of turns the roster over in a lot of ways. So it makes a lot of sense why they might be thought to be the better program right now.
I mean, again, and they'll play a 3-game series, and the whole thing will roll itself out. But, yeah, right now, Clemson's just looked at on paper as the better team. And we'll see how that goes by the end of the weekend. But that's where it's at now. And, yes, they did play a tougher schedule in the non-conference so far. So we'll see. All right, thank you for the Firehouse Up Text the Hour. Appreciate it. That was a good one, 803-404-6100. What's trending at 2, sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions. Also our over-under. We'll get you the new over-under for the week as well in that contest. That is coming up on the halftime show. Tyler Head, Terry Ford, hanging out for another hour here on the game.
107.5 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevy Studios. You can save up to $20,000 on new Silverados. Stop by or shop online today and see how Herndon Chevy makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Griffin Pools and Spas, your authorized Latham and Imperial dealer, is having their biggest sale of the year on all in-ground pools and hot tubs. Come by their location at 1348 North Lake Drive to visit factory reps and save thousands on in-ground pools with huge discounts and incentives on spas. Buy now, save, and enjoy your pool or spa all summer long. Let their family help your family build an outdoor oasis. Come see them February 27th through March 2nd at Griffin Pools and Spas.
Griffin Pools and Spas, we make you feel good.
10 years ago, who could have predicted what the internet would bring? Streaming videos, voice assistants, smartphones, smart homes, work from home. But here we are, wondering what the next 10 years will bring. Whatever it brings, Lumos 100% fiber optic internet is ready with incredible speeds and reliability. So you can do more and be more than you ever thought possible on the internet built for the future. Plans start at $50 per month. Learn more at lumosfiber.com/next.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do...
Let's play something, Grandma.
...became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Imagine a scrapbook filled with all your favorite memories of 75 years at Darlington Raceway. Now imagine that scrapbook going 190 miles per hour.
Have you ever? No, I've never.
You don't have to imagine. You need to get to Darlington, where the drivers of today tackle the track too tough to tame, just like they did your first time. NASCAR Throwback Weekend at Darlington Raceway, April 5th and 6th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com. Discover South Carolina.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample Rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Build month.
New Orleans is coming to Steel Hands Brewing in Casey on Saturday, March 1st, starting at 11 a.m. Come celebrate this free event Nolan style. There will be live music all day, beignets, a low country boil with giant jumbo shrimp, smoked sausage, potatoes, corn cobs, and the Steel Hands Secret Cajun Bay Hybrid Seasoning. Plus, they'll be bringing back their King Cake Golden Ale release. So grab your friends, wear your purple, green, and gold, and come party New Orleans style at Steel Steel Hands Brewing, Saturday, March 1st.
Spring cleaning will be here before you know it. So now is the time. Call Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Take advantage of their pre-spring sale and get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $119. And when you mention me, Bill Gunner at 1075 The Game, you'll get a staircase cleaned for free. Schedule online, ZerorezColumbia.com. ZerorezColumbia.com. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards, is the right way to clean.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 1075 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. What's trending at 2 on the halftime show, sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions on the Game Network and 1075 The Game app.
What's trending at 2, sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions. Tyler Head, Terry Ford, getting you caught up on all the stuff going on in the world of sports. Real quick, though, our Gamecock Traditions over-under contest. This week, you ready?
Let's go.
Over-under. 1.5. Gamecocks wins over Clemson this weekend, 1.5.
Well, I hope over.
Over will be a good thing.
I think Ian may be the only one taking under.
Yeah, our boy Ian will go under.
But I would imagine most people will take over. And look, we're going to learn a lot about this team this weekend. Well, we like what we've seen so far. Obviously, 8-0. Can't complain about that. There are things that, as Maneri's talked about, you want to be better. And Clemson is the litmus test, right? And what you are against Clemson isn't what you're going to be against Oklahoma 2 weeks later. It isn't going to be what you're going to be in the SEC tournament at the end of the season or the NCAA tournament if you make it that far. It just shows you where you're at, half or at the very end of the month of February, beginning of the month of March so far. And again, it can kind of give you things to go back to the drawing board on, improve on, that you're going to need to get better at, because like you said, they're in a top 25 team, as are many of the teams you're going to see in the SEC this year. So it's a true gauge of where you're at this point in the year.
You get to go up against a top 15 squad and just kind of see where you're at right now as we speak in late February, rolling yourself through your non-conference into your conference schedule.
Yep.
And speaking of the rivalry, let's get cut 14 real quick from Paul Maneri, Tyler. Here is a Coach Maneri looking ahead to the Clemson rivalry. Now, again, you got Gardner-Webb tomorrow. You can hear that on our sister station, 98.5 WOMG. No one's looking past Gardner-Webb, but just Paul Maneri was asked about his first experience in the Clemson rivalry, and here's Maneri's thoughts.
Yeah, everywhere I go, it's amazing to me. I didn't have that kind of a rivalry when I coached at LSU. I mean, Tulane, to some degree, especially when they were really good, was a little bit like that. But, we just play a home and away midweek game, so 2 separate occasions. They were never back-to-back or a weekend series. And we had good rivals, in conference play, of course. But, man, when I go around town here, all everybody ever wants to talk about is you got to beat Clemson. I'm like, we're in the SEC, come on. But, it's the 3rd weekend of the season. So there's a lot of, no matter what happens on the weekend, there's going to be a lot of baseball ahead of us. All of our goals will be firmly, whether we have a great weekend or a poor weekend, it's not going to define our season. There's still going to be a lot of games to play. But I don't ignore the fact that it's obviously some big games. And, look, I'm not looking beyond Gardner-Webb. I have a lot of respect for them. Monty tells me they swing the bats really well. And, I want our players to approach Gardner-Webb like we're playing Clemson on Tuesday, quite frankly. And that's exactly what I told them. I want to put some pressure on them to see how they handle it on Tuesday. It's a big game, and we're going to go out and play to win and, try to play as well as we can. And when that game's over, then, we'll head up north and be ready to take on the Tigers.
I'm actually a little surprised he didn't go with, I don't even know who we're playing next weekend. Focused on Gardner-Webb.
Because when he said, but I was waiting for the because again, this is not a knock on Coach Maneri.
But he's old school.
Every coach will say the same thing. We got a game on Tuesday.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Gardner Webb, they put charge in the ball. They're going to give us a lot of problems. I don't know who, and I don't care who we're playing next weekend yet. That's a Wednesday problem.
Right. So, the fact that Coach Maneri even acknowledged what's coming up late in the week, I was impressed. And then he said this, ready? I want us to play Gardner Webb like we're playing Clemson.
Yeah, there you go. There it was.
You knew it was
He
coming.
saved himself.
He had to. Because, again, it is a thing, and we all know how much of a thing it is. Now, I'll be honest with you, man. The intensity, my first year here, when South Carolina and Clemson played, and we were over at the Battle of Bull Street, and the intensity of that game felt like a postseason game. It is. You get both sides. It's a thing, right? But like Coach Maneri said, you have a lot of games left after Clemson.
Yeah.
And you can't get too high, too low. Obviously, you want to win the series. But at the end of the day, no matter what happens in those 3 games, you still have, both teams, by the way, still have a ton of tough games to play after this weekend.
Yeah.
So you can't get too geeked one way or the other. You just can't.
No, and again, Coach Maneri coming after all these games is talking about what he learned, what can get better, and all those kind of things. And again, I think he's going to look at Clemson as obviously a series that you want to go out there and win, because that would certainly be a good notch in your belt if that does end up happening. But just learning more about your team, because the competition level is going to step up. You're going to be facing MLB quality players on that side that you just haven't really seen these first couple of weeks. And that's not a knock on these teams. That's just fact. Like there's no first round prospects on Milwaukee's team or Sacred Heart or whatever, and that competition level is going to step up. How do you play against them? And on the other side of things, Clemson's running the same thing. Now, yes, they played higher level competition to start. They did get run rolled by Ole Miss, as I talked about the other day. So, okay, how do we fare against another SEC team to kind of set the table for how they're going to be in ACC play? Yeah, and look, if you're South Carolina, it is a nice little test against a top 15 team. Just give you a gauge of where you're at. And you're right. No offense to Milwaukee or old Milwaukee or whatever, but this is a whole different animal you get this weekend. Or Gardner Webb or Sacred Heart or whatever. You get this far and away the best squad you played all season. Now you get to just see where you're at. See what's going on. So far, you're undefeated. Every game, you got more than the other team. That's a great thing. Yep.
Now, you'll just tick up in competition. And the last thing you want to do is go out here and just, soil yourself against Gardner Webb. You want to go out here, get this thing taken care of early, get a nice lead.
Because you know what would people say if Carolina loses tomorrow night? Look ahead to Clemson.
That's right.
You're distracted by Clemson.
No doubt. All right, let's get one more from Paul Maneri real quick, Tyler. Defense has been very good and a very important part of the South Carolina start to the season. 2 errors all year, I think? And
5.
Is it 5?
Yeah. But I mean, again, not as bad as it was.
No,
last year.
We're seeing a team that's consistently making the plays defensively you need to make. And here's Paul Maneri talking about his pride in the defense so far early in the season.
Yes, John, I do. I have incredibly high expectations for defense because I have incredibly high expectations for pitching. And you can't expect your team to pitch well unless you play good defense behind them. And we work hard on it. And I think if you go back and listen to my introductory press conference, I talked about defense. And, it's kind of been a hallmark of most of the teams that I've coached throughout my career. It's something that I think is an important aspect of the game. And, if you look at yesterday, the first pitch of the game, the hitter for Milwaukee hit a missile in the hole, and Kaz backhanded it and threw the guy out. If he doesn't make that play, think of how different the inning develops. And, and it's not just one position, it's every position.
Yeah, like Tyler said, 5 errors, 2 by Nolan Milwaukee, 2 by Ethan Petrie, and then 1 with Talmadge LeCroy behind the plate. That's been it.
Sure.
And look, Ethan Petrie, his strength at first base from watching him play, he can take a ball out, he can take a throw out of the dirt.
He can.
But defensively, put it this way, Ethan Petrie's calling card right now as a baseball player is at the plate.
It's how you hit the ball.
It's how he hits the ball.
And he had that one error where it went off of his hip against Queens when it was 30 degrees and he was from Florida, and anything below 65 is freezing to him. So, I don't think that's going to be a consistent issue with him over there.
I look, again, Petrie at first base, if he can hold his own, that's fine. Milwaukee had a couple errors. LeCroy behind the plate had an error.
I look at what you have in Scobie at third base and Kazmar at shortstop. And look, Kazmar at the plate, he needs to figure it out because it's not gotten off to a good start. But, man, he is a very solid shortstop, making some very good plays out there. Scobie, again, has impressed all of us through these first couple games as a true freshman. So the area where the ball gets hit the hardest usually, you've got two very solid guys there.
And it feels like Kazmar is going to hit. He's hit before.
Yeah,
he will hit.
And again, Maneri's trying to figure out the right spot in the lineup for him, and he'll come along as everybody does. Him and Lee Croy, the two that haven't really gotten rolling yet from at the plate just yet, but their time will come. And again, you add to what Kazmar can do on defense, then that'll just make him even better.
Isn't it interesting? Lee Croy's only hit was like a go-ahead big game.
Yeah, he made it count.
Hit a huge double that put them ahead.
Yeah, he made it count.
It was the Winthrop game, right? The big double was against Winthrop?
I believe so.
Over the left fielder's head.
Yeah, I think so.
It's the only hit of the year, by the way.
Yep.
But again, your catchers are there for defense. And if Lee Croy can hold his own behind the plate, you can deal with a guy who's not really bringing you a ton of offensive productivity, but he's got to be able to bring it defensively. And right now with Kazmar, you can see the value that Paul Maneri has on defense. And he knows that Kazmar hit at Ohio State. He knows the guy has got offensive game. He's just right now it's a struggle. You look at but if you got two guys scuffling, and if the rest of the offense can carry them while they're finding their way offensively because they're bringing you so much defensively, that's just a positive for you. But yeah, defense, a huge value. And you heard Maneri say it, and something you and I brought up. Pitcher's best friend, 7 guys behind him.
That's right.
So very interesting with, let's throw one more Maneri in here before we get to the break. Paul Maneri also, he stated this was the best hitting game of the season for South Carolina yesterday. Let's get to cut 12, Tyler, about being aggressive at the plate offensively, because Maneri is all about being aggressive. He's not saying swing at everything. He's not saying chase balls out of the zone. What he's saying is be aggressive, hunt your pitch, and when you get your pitch to hit your pitch. Here's Maneri talking about being aggressive at the plate.
Baseball is a tough sport, and the toughest part of the sport is hitting. And if you look around the country, most of the scores are low-scoring games this time of year because of the cold conditions, and usually pitching's ahead of hitting anyway. And, we don't get exhibition games. We don't get a spring training, so you jump right into it against other teams. And it's hard enough to hit, and then when the ball doesn't carry well, and then, if it doesn't leave the ballpark, your chances of it going at somebody, even though you hit it hard, are increased. It's hard to have bad luck when it goes over the fence, But when it doesn't go over the fence, the chances are it could be at somebody or they make a good play on you. So the important thing was just for the kids to take an aggressive approach and not lose their confidence. And I think I felt all along that we had a good lineup and that the hitting would come eventually. And both Monty and I constantly talked to the hitters about, being aggressive, being confident, and believing that things will happen. And, if you have the talent, then it will. I like the way we're swinging the bat, actually. It was nice today, like when somebody asked, to see some balls leave the park and get some hits and doubles and triples and things like that, and do some base running, and that's the game. I love the game when that's happening, especially when it's happening for us.
And you look at it. Will Tippett went nuts on Sunday.
I know. He's a guy that has had his ups and downs at the plate, to say the least. Went on some streaks last year that were not great, but man, he tore the cover off of it yesterday, which is nice to see. And can he factor in to this lineup? We'll have to see.
And Nolan Milwaukee, we talked about a couple errors he has this year, but yeah, he had a couple of knocks. Hitting .333 in the year as popped a home run. So we'll see where it goes. Offensively, you feel like, Ethan Petrie's off to a really good start. Nathan Hall's off to an excellent start. Our boy Jace has got the grand slam.
Yes, he does. Made somebody $150.
And again, Milwaukee's hitting over 300. Besides that, you got guys who have been inconsistent to off to really slow starts. You feel like the offense is going to get better, obviously, as the weather warms up and the ball starts to carry a little bit more and things of that nature. But again, defense, throwing strikes. You do those two things. That really helps you, especially when you're rolling out these low-scoring games when it's like 60 below and you can't feel your hands.
Yes.
There's nothing worse than hitting a ball off the handle.
You feel it for the rest of the day.
Oh, Your hands just shake. It's like a Looney Tunes cartoon. Your hands shake for like hours.
You get the bumblebees.
Yeah.
Same thing if you take a line drive into the palm of the mitt too hard in this weather. Yeah, you're going to feel that for a while, too.
I did that. I told you, playing fall league softball in Wisconsin. It was September. It was 75 below. Ran in the alley, had a ball hit right in the palm. I felt that for I felt it for like a week. I had like the shape of a softball in my hand. It was awful.
I bet you did.
6:15 on our sister station, 98.5 WOMG. Baseball tomorrow with South Carolina and Gardner-Webb. The men will go at it. Basketball. We'll get into that next, along with the women victorious over Vanderbilt. That's coming up. What's trending at 2, sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions here on the Halftime Show on The Game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. And 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app. 107.5 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevy Studios. You can save up to $20,000 on new Silverados. Stop by or shop online today and see how Herndon Chevy makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. Check out the Season of Love at South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. I-26 in Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
It's a new year in Columbia, and if you own a business, you too can have the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield. Just ask Mike.
I was watching TV one night and saw the Rhino Shield ad, and I thought, well, if they can do a house, they can probably do a building.
Rhino Shield's not pain, it's better.
So they came out and they gave me a price, showed me how the Rhino works, how it lasts, and how the guarantee works.
Business or residential, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
They waited for us to leave, and they worked Saturday and Sunday so they wouldn't affect our business at all. This was the great part of it. I came back Sunday night, and you couldn't even tell they were here. There was no paint on the ground. They did a fantastic job.
Here's owner Dan Hoey.
This offer is limited, so call today at 833-RHINO-99 or visit RhinoShieldCarolina.com. Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Hey, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, y'all. Jay Phillips here from my good friends at Dan's Fan City in Harbison. Ceiling fans don't sound like something you think about a lot because you don't really need to, but when you've got good ones, they work so well, keeping energy costs down and your comfort level up. All kinds of fans at Dan's Fan City, big to small and quiet, quality fans. They have accessories and light kits, fan blades, and more. Stop by and see them soon, Harbison Boulevard next to Total Wine, or call Dan's Fan City, 781-FANS. You'll be glad you did.
Is your crawl space damp or musty? Water in your crawl space can cause wood to rot and creates an environment for mold and mildew that can make its way inside your home. Canty Foundation Specialist specializes in crawl space repair. Call us today for your free inspection so you can have the peace of mind knowing your crawl space is dry and your home is protected. Call today, 803-424-8380, or visit cantycanfixit.com.
Lowe's knows how to help you get the most out of your store run. That's why members save more with My Lowe's Rewards. Earn points towards My Lowe's money on eligible purchases. Get access to member-only deals and free member gifts. Plus, unlock free standard shipping when you reach Silver Key status. So what are you waiting for? Join for free today. Lowe's. We help. You save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Hi, it's me, your USPS Ground Advantage shipment. Just left the warehouse and hitting the road.
I know. Just got the notification.
Great. Smooth sailing so far. I'm almost there.
Yes, I know. I get all the updates.
Made it. Safe and sound.
I know.
Well, did you know I was with USPS the whole time?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Keep your business in the know with the USPS Ground Advantage service. Visit USPS.com/in-the-know.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free.
What's trending at 2 on the halftime show, sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions on the Game Network and 107.5 The Game app.
What's trending at 2, sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions. Tyler Head, Terry Ford, we're rolling up until 3 here on the game. Good weekend for hoops. The women obviously took care of business in Nashville, just stomping the curb with Vanderbilt. 24-11 first quarter.
Yep.
Just kept it rolling from there. Malaysia Fawali, Joyce Edwards, just... Again, the bench scored like 52 of 84 or something like that. It was just ridiculous. And here's Dawn Staley post-game. She was asked about her team in transition, and she discussed about playing well in transition.
I mean, this league will eat you up. If you turn the ball over, live ball turnovers. I thought we turned the ball over trying to throw it back, back at them underneath their basket. I think they got 7 points in the first half with us doing that. So we have to clean some of the stuff up that we were just kind of self-inflicting. But I thought we did a good job, not giving easy buckets.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that has bit South Carolina, even last year when they won the whole thing, is at times they get a little loose with the rock.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, because your margin of error isn't what it was last year, what it has been in the past, that's even more important is valuing the basketball. And there are times, they can get a little turnover happy, unfortunately.
13 on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and Malaysia Fawali, I don't think, had a turnover on Sunday.
No, she did not, which is improvement. Fagan had the most with 3.
Yeah.
A couple players with 2, a few players with 1. But the biggest stat off that is points off turnovers. Carolina 23, Vanderbilt 3. So even when they turned the ball over, the defense on the other side was good enough where it ended up not mattering.
It wasn't turning into runouts for Vandy.
No.
And that's the thing. When South Carolina gets turnovers, they attack and turn it into points typically. And one of the things in their losses is they weren't able to do that.
Yes.
So if they can't get those points in transition against some of these high-level teams, consistently running their half-court offense and making shots has been a problem. But if they can get in transition on you with this crew, South Carolina's dangerous.
Absolutely. And look, since the loss last week, they've beaten, Arkansas by 40, and they're now beaten Vanderbilt by 28. Yep. Kind of the exact way we expect these teams, or you expect them to beat these kind of things, and they should be able to probably beat Ole Miss, and Kentucky offer a more challenge because they're a ranked team, sure, but we expect them to win that game as well.
Right.
We're kind of already looking ahead to tournament stuff, like, okay, now what do you do when you rematch with LSU, when you rematch with Texas, when you rematch with maybe a UConn, a UCLA, whatever, these big name teams that have given you trouble or given you good games later on in the season.
So we shall see where it goes from here, but a nice victory on the road for the South Carolina women. The men, you get that big, gigantic, whatever you want to call that thing off your back.
Monkey, gorilla,
Yeti,
monster, Godzilla. Yeah, maybe something around those lines, right?
It's gone. Win over Texas on Saturday night. Lamont Paris. One of the biggest thing was South Carolina did not turn the ball over. It got a little nerve-wracking there when Texas went full court press late in the game after Colin Murray-Boyles fouled out. But for the most part, South Carolina valued the basketball better than they have through the SEC schedule, to be fair. Here is Lamont Paris. Let's get cut 8, limiting turnovers.
Yeah, it was huge. We tried. We saved up enough. We had enough of a buffer that we tried in that time. You go to first half and have only 2 turnovers. I think that was huge. I mentioned before, our points per possession offensively, and by and large, in most of these games, there's some outliers, obviously, but in a lot of these games, our points per possession has been, when we didn't turn it over, just the possessions that we got a shot, our points per possession has been over 1, which is kind of like the general number to say, you do anything defensively, you're probably going to be in position to win. And we've had a ton of games that it's been like that, over 1 point per possession. So it really has come down to turnover. So it was nice that we had a game where we only turned it over twice in the first half, and then we did have a really good point per possession in that first half. So I thought that was key to the game. They turned the pressure up in the second half, and it took us a little bit to get adjusted to it. They made a run. We calmed down. Guys calmed down a little bit. Because they wanted to win so badly that, it's easy to see how any little delta in the lead is noticeable to the guys. So when it got cut down to 11, I thought they did a really good job of settling back down, getting back to playing basketball, and did some normal things like get the ball up the floor aggressively and play off 2 feet and find an open guy, make some free throws when they needed to, get a good big rebound when we needed to. So I give them a lot of credit for managing that run. I thought that run in particular was the one that allowed us to find a way to victory tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it got a little tight there with some turnovers, but then South Carolina kind of steadied themselves, started getting fouled, getting to the line, making enough free throws to cement this win. The thing about when they turn it over, Tyler, it's just they all look at each other like they're just unsure.
Yep.
There's this hesitation, and all the backcourt guys. It's just there's a hesitation of all right, here comes the pressure. Now what do? We throw over it? Am I dribbling through it? What am I doing at this moment in time? And as soon as you have that hesitation, you're just doomed. But once after the lead got cut to 11, they started to get the ball up court, and then Texas was forced to start fouling. But yeah, the turnovers have just been a thing, man.
They have. And look, I think that first half was probably one of the best first halves they played, or halves of basketball they played the entire year, to where, and look, Texas pretty much matched them in the entire second half, but you built up such a buffer in the first half by having that 18-point halftime lead. Texas playing a great second half wasn't enough to even come close, because you ended up winning by 15 anyway.
It was a combination of offense and defense in the first half. To your point, it was their best first half of basketball because they were in Texas's grill. And Texas was terrible on offense, and part of that was South Carolina making them uncomfortable. By the way, I mean, Trey Johnson's ridiculous.
He is.
But the rest of the team really struggled.
Again, he was 4 of 11 from the field in the first half, scored 9 points, got more in the second half, obviously, which you expect him to, but you negated him enough in the first half to where even him having a monster second half wasn't enough.
I mean, you had a cushion. And Colin Murray-Boyles was phenomenal, very aggressive, going to the basket, making plays. And you had, like you said, you had enough cushion to hold it off. All right, so we've talked. I'm going to try to get to. Well, we're going to get to this probably tomorrow. A lot has been made of, what's happened this year with the men's basketball team, and we've looked at. Okay, we got to find something to give you hope.
Yep.
And part of it is Missouri last year went winless in the SEC. This year, Missouri's going to the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
So the idea is Missouri kind of like what you want to look at? And maybe they are, but maybe they aren't. But tomorrow we'll talk about another team that was terrible for the last few years and have gotten it totally turned around this year. And maybe that's a possible model too, because let's be honest here. We don't know what you have with this team next year.
You don't know who's going to be on the team next year.
Right. I mean, obviously, Colin Murray-Boyles is going to go to the NBA draft.
Yeah.
You're losing a bunch of other guys. Jacoby Wright, Thomas is gone. Pretty much your entire Zach Davis is back, right?
I believe so. And that's the thing. You're losing your best player, and I think we all kind of assumed, okay, Colin Murray-Boyles moves on. Cam Scott be the one to naturally ascend to be that guy. He hasn't been that this year.
No, and that's a big problem is, Cam Scott not getting to be what Colin Murray-Boyles was last year.
Yeah.
Because that's what we were hoping, and then Cam Scott would take the reins. Is Cam Scott going to come back next year? We got no clue.
Do you have to go out and find that guy in the portal? Because that's not easy.
But let's say Cam Scott comes back and Zach Davis comes back. That's it.
Yeah.
And Conyers.
Yeah. It's not the most stable foundation to build off of.
So what are you going to do? I mean, you got a couple guys coming in your recruiting class, but
you can't guarantee that's going to be
no.
They're going to pop because again, look at Cam Scott.
Right. So you really don't know what you might have next year. You got no clue. So we're going to go into this tomorrow. Is Missouri the team to model yourself, or another team we're going to bring up? Is this the type of route do you take as well? We'll get into that tomorrow as we try to figure out next year. Because not to be mean, we kind of see where this year's at. Today, what is it, 21st, 22nd? What is today, 23rd?
24th.
24th?
Yes.
February's almost over, dude. February 24th is the greatest day in the history of the world. We'll talk about that next here on the Halftime Show. Tyler Head, Terry Ford on the game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia.
100.5 The Game in Florence. And 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
The Game Network.
The Game Roadshow, sponsored by Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
The Halftime Show with Terry Ford and Tyler Head will be live at Griffin Pools and Spas, Thursday, noon to 3.
On the Game Network and on 107.5, the Game app.
Choose iMart Express and see the moment.
I saw my son grinning as he rounded third during his first home run.
My 4K TV finally looks it, just in time for the big game.
I could see my daughter smile through her veil as she walked down the aisle.
The Grand Canyon looks way bigger without the blurriness.
My toddler's new glasses let him meet his favorite Teddy all over again.
Get 2 pairs of single vision glasses starting under $40, or 2 pairs of progressives starting under $80 with free same-day speed. iMart Express, see the moment.
Calling all business owners and property managers. Is it finally time to get that parking lot or driveway repaved? Call Black Seal today. Black Seal is a locally owned commercial asphalt construction and maintenance company, servicing local churches, schools, shopping centers, warehouses, restaurants, you name it. If it needs asphalt paving or asphalt repair, Black Seal has you covered. If you're looking to pave your parking lot or driveway, Black Seal paves the way. Black Seal also provides maintenance options to maintain your asphalt and improve your curb appeal. Get your free estimate and visit blacksealsc.com to learn more. Griffin Pools and Spas, your authorized Latham and Imperial dealer, is having their biggest sale of the year on all in-ground pools and hot tubs. Come by their location at 1348 North Lake Drive to visit factory reps and save thousands on in-ground pools with huge discounts and incentives on spas. Buy now, save, and enjoy your pool or spa all summer long. Let their family help your family build an outdoor oasis. Come see them February 27th through March 2nd at Griffin Pools and Spas.
Griffin Pools and Spas. We make you feel good.
Imagine a scrapbook filled with all your favorite memories of 75 years at Darlington Raceway. Now imagine that scrapbook going 190 miles per hour.
Have you ever? No, I've never.
You don't have to imagine. You need to get to Darlington, where the drivers of today tackle the track too tough to tame, just like they did your first time. NASCAR Throwback Weekend at Darlington Raceway, April 5th and 6th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com. Discover South Carolina.
It's the season of love right now at Love Chevrolet. Just close your eyes and imagine driving off with an overwhelming sense of satisfaction. Cared for, respected, confident, knowing you just got the deal of a lifetime. That's a love story. And that's been going on for 64 years at Love Chevrolet, your trusted hometown Chevy dealer. Whether it's the heart-pounding Silverado or the captivating value of the tracks, Love has the new Chevy that'll make your heart skip a beat. With plenty for you to touch, feel, and experience for yourself. No gimmicks, no ridiculous add-on stickers, no hassle at Love Chevy. And don't forget about the $1,000 low price guarantee. So what's your love story? Find out today during the season of love. I-26 in Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
That's the power of love. Love Chevy.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Hey, daydreamer. Did we catch you thinking about your dreams? With Wells Fargo Premier, a team can help you plan for them. So let's imagine your biggest dream. Not the easy one, the one behind it. The one you work towards every day and every night. Can you see it? Then we can help you plan for it. Ready to start planning for your dreams? You can at wellsfargo.com/getpremier.
Enjoy up to 70% off premium products, designer handbags, gift cards from national chains, autographed sports memorabilia, cruises, hotel accommodations, and more. Sweetdeals.com. Click premium.
And now, on the halftime show, it's the greatest day in the history of the world on the Game Network and the 107.5 The Game app.
Oh, I got an interesting one for you, Tyler. Heading the greatest day of the history of the world. We always go old school. Oh, this one's interesting. We've been lacking one this interesting.
Okay.
1960.
Yep.
Bill Clary scored 4 goals to lead the United States to a 9-1 victory over West Germany in the hockey championship round of the Winter Olympics in Squaw Valley.
Okay.
Now, the U.S. won the gold in 1960 in Squaw Valley. Again, an upset of sorts, not like the Miracle on Ice, but still, that U.S. team wasn't picked to win the gold medal at all.
Yeah.
They kind of upset their way through, and they won the gold in Squaw Valley.
Sure.
You say Bill Cleary must have had a heck of an NHL career, right?
I'm going to guess probably not.
Nope. All-America hockey player at Harvard. Starred 2 years at Harvard, set several team records. Many of them still stand. Most goals in a Game 6. Instrumental in Harvard's invitation to the 1955 NCAA hockey tournament, first time in school history. Cleary was a all-tournament first-teamer, and then he took a year away from college. Won a silver in 56 at the Winter Olympics, then turned down a professional contract with the Montreal Canadiens and the Boston Bruins. Went into the insurance business instead, where he made more money than he would have probably made in the NHL. We've heard this story, haven't we? Then he popped back up again playing hockey in 1959 as an amateur and in 1960, and was part of the gold medal Winter Olympic team in 1960. Led the tournament in points, by the way, with 14.
Do you, hang that gold medal, in your insurance office?
Absolutely.
Because, I don't know. Is that gonna sway anybody with you? Trustworthy? Man, this guy's an American hero. Won a gold medal.
Well, it always works, right? Look at some of these guys who have been famous in America who have run for office.
Yeah.
Dwight Eisenhower was president because he was the general of the U.S. Army.
That's right.
We see Steve Largent was a very popular NFL player in Seattle, ended up in Congress. Fred Grandy was Gopher on the Love Boat, a very popular TV show, ended up in Congress.
Yeah, Tommy Tuberville.
There you go.
Coach at Auburn.
Exactly.
And abandoned Texas Tech that time.
Yeah, but you know what? He's in Congress.
He's in Congress.
So that's my point is, if you hang that medal up in your insurance office, I'm going with that guy. Why? He's got the best rates? No, he won a gold medal.
Yeah.
I'm going with the gold medal guy.
You think they had a pickup hockey team at his insurance company or whatever?
Tore it up every year.
Hey, you want to come play for us? I'm retired. Come on, man. We can win with you.
Nah, man. Oh, that's behind me now. Want to see my gold medal?
Be like if you had I don't know, NL MVP on your beer league softball team or something.
Oh yeah. Right. It's sort of like getting that the guy that played in the majors.
Uh-huh.
and now he's just bumming around, and you're trying to get him out there to play on your slow pitch softball team.
Sure.
And if you actually do get him out there,
everybody kind of realize, wait a minute, I know that name.
Well, I was like, wow. Alex Rodriguez?
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
Your league might have to write a special rule for him. He starts every at bat with an 0-2 count, and he's not allowed to take balls.
Another old school. In 1967, Will Chamberlain set a record going 18 of 18 from the field against the Baltimore Bullets, an NBA record for field goals in a game without a miss. 1978, really good point guard back in the day named Kevin Porter was with the New Jersey Nets at the time, set an NBA record 29 assists in a game in a victory over the Rockets, again, 1978. This day in 1980, my man, the U.S. won the gold medal by beating Finland 4-2.
The forgotten game of that.
The game no one ever talks about.
Yeah.
Everybody thought the beating the Soviets won the gold. No, beating the Soviets put them in the gold medal game.
Right.
And they were down, by the way, against Finland after the first period, and Herb Brooks went in and said, you bleepers understand if we don't win this bleeping game, that win over the Soviets doesn't bleeping matter.
If they did lose that game, I still think we'd look upon that as a huge moment in American sports.
Absolutely.
It's a tough thing. I wasn't alive to see this. Like, how much does the gold medal add to it? I guess is the question.
I think it's just the extra icing on the cake.
Yeah, and then they went on to win the gold medal.
Right, because we never talk about, the first thing we say is when they beat the Soviets, the miracle on ice.
Sure.
Then we go, oh, by the way, they won the gold medal. Again, this was back before cell phones and all that stuff. But that game was being listened to on the radio in our country.
Yeah, and it was delayed. Right?
It was delayed on TV because that's back when. Think about that for a minute. That's back when you delayed things because you didn't have 7 billion cable channels to put all your events on, right?
That's crazy.
So people that were listening to that game were pulling over on the side of the road and hugging and high-fiving when the U.S. beat the Soviets in hockey.
One of the most important moments in American sports history was on delay.
Yes.
But you can go watch any junior college baseball teams play each other tonight on ESPN+.
I can probably right now, if I dig up enough, go find some cricket.
Sure.
But you couldn't watch the Soviets and the United States play a hockey game that the winner would go roll for the gold medal.
We've come a long way.
Think about this. When the 76ers and the Lakers and Magic Johnson, the first time Magic Johnson played in the NBA Finals, those games, some of them were on tape delay after your late local news.
I've heard about this, that they used to tape delay the NBA Finals.
That's where the NBA was in the late 70s.
That's also very insane.
Yeah, very insane.
And it's one thing, like, okay, if an event is taking place, like, okay, when the Olympics are in China, right? If it's happening on a weird time, all right, I get that because most people aren't awake. But no, like, the time was fine.
It was the NBA Finals were being held in America, in like one of our time zones.
Yeah,
it was just insane. And you go back to the Olympics. I mean, that whole thing just was, again, it's a bunch of amateurs. Eruzione was the only player that had any experience on a professional level, and that was a minor leaguer. It was truly college kids against the big, bad Red Army hockey team. And they just whooped them. The Soviets whooped them, beat them like a drum at Madison Square Garden in an exhibition right before the Olympics.
Right.
The whole thing was such a Cinderella story. And then when they won the gold, Eruzione brought the whole team on the medal stand. Just everything... and especially America at that time was going through a lot of challenges as a country.
Yep.
And they all kind of rallied around this hockey team. It's just something that you're lucky if you get to see it in your lifetime. It was just a perfect storm that hit at that time that made that so special. And to this day, I still think it's the greatest moment in sports history in my lifetime that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I was a kid. I mean, I was just a kid when that whole thing went down. Yeah, so it was something else. It was this day in 1980. This day in 1982, Wayne Gretzky scores his NHL record 78th goal of the season. He had 92 in that year of 1982. By the way, Alexander Ovechkin is going to break a record I thought could never be broken.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing happens to him between now and the end of the season, he will break Gretzky's career scoring mark with goals. He'll never beat his career points record. No one's ever going to beat that. But Ovechkin will actually retire as the top goal scorer in NHL history. I never thought anybody would pass Gretzky. So I give old Ovechkin credit. And he's been drunk most of the time.
Yep. I know.
Was there a better guy celebrating with the Stanley Cup than Alexander Ovechkin?
No,
ever.
He pretty much nailed it.
Because you know what? All of us said like this. If I had my day with the cup,
That's what
I'd be
do.
doing the same thing.
Absolutely.
Walking around drunk off my mind. Now we got to get them done here real quick. Couple more greatest day in the history of the world here on the halftime show. This was really good in 2002. Canada beat the United States 5-2 in the gold medal game when it was pros. That was a huge game, a big build-up, and Canada handled the United States pretty easy in that gold medal game back in 2002 when the NHL was involved. Here we go. I'll throw you one.
All right.
I'll give you one
Sure.
to wrap up with here. Missy Parkin becomes the first woman to reach the match play finals in the 69th U.S. Open at Brunswick. A 25-year-old Professional Bowlers Association Tour veteran, she completes the 26-game qualifying portion of the U.S. Open by knocking over 5,800 pins, an average of 224 a game.
It's pretty good.
The first woman ever to reach the match play finals at the U.S. Open bowling tournament at Brunswick.
Wow.
There you go. How about that one?
Yep.
224, she was rolling a game. All right, we'll come back in here, Firehouse Subtext the hour. Also do the handoff, sponsored by Little Pigs on Alpine with Jay in the postgame show. That's next here on the halftime show on the game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
Listen to Gamecocks baseball on The Game. And if a Gamecocks batter hits a grand slam, you could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash in the Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union Grand Slam giveaway. Go to 1075thegame.com and register. Brought to you by Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union and The Game.
This is Andrew Perloff with a Sports Minute. Following the Lakers the rest of this season might give fans whiplash. They looked terrible last week against the Hornets, and they turn around and destroy the Nuggets on Saturday night. All of a sudden, Luka Doncic looked like his old self. Makes sense for there to be growing pains, but against Denver, we saw what could be with the Lakers. And that's going to get a lot of people raising expectations in a hurry. I'm Andrew Perloff.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
After you use Bounce Dryer Sheets and realize how fresh, soft, less wrinkled, and less staticky your laundry can be, you'll every time. Like those socks that smell like they've been through a marathon. Or that blanket that's got wrinkles on its wrinkles. Maybe even your chatty coworker who keeps distracting you. Okay, Bounce Dryer Sheets can't do it all. But for fresher, softer, better laundry,
When you're in the thick of a project, Harbor Freight is the place that always comes in handy. Whether you're picking up something for your pickup truck or a power tool for your project, at Harbor Freight, your dollar always goes further. And these days, when everything seems to cost more, you can take pride in knowing that you get hard-working tools at hard-working prices. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Lowe's knows how to help you get the most out of your store run. That's why members save more with My Lowe's Rewards. Earn points towards My Lowe's money on eligible purchases. Get access to member-only deals and free member gifts. Plus, unlock free standard shipping when you reach Silver Key status. So what are you waiting for? Join for free today. Lowe's. We help. You save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Hi, it's me, your USPS Ground Advantage shipment. Just left the warehouse and hitting the road.
I know. Just got the notification.
Great. Smooth sailing so far. I'm almost there.
Yes, I know. I get all the updates.
Made it. Safe and sound.
I know.
Well, did you know I was with USPS the whole time?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Keep your business in the know with the USPS Ground Advantage service. Visit USPS.com/in-the-know.
Halftime Show with Terry Ford and Tyler Head on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
All right, we'll get our Firehouse Up text, the hour 803-404-6100. Also, our handoff. And again, playing the role of Jay Phillips because he has such a long drive to get here. What is it, 5 minutes? 4 minutes?
5 minutes by car. I mean, that's probably like, what,
What'd you say
30 by foot?
What'd you say by, what's always your line?
He could pogo stick his way here if he wanted
to. He could pogo stick his way here.
The problem is it's uphill both ways through a blizzard, broken glass, you know, the usual cliches.
He goes barefoot. He has to go barefoot, uphill.
I suggest going human feet next time.
If Jay only ever drove back and forth from here to home, he would only buy gas like once a month, I think.
I was going to say once a year.
Yeah, maybe once a year.
I mean, he drives that, that big minivan, which is like 30 years old. He'd still only have to get gas maybe once a year.
Because he has to roll it.
Yes.
I don't even think he has to put it in drive. It's in neutral.
And it rolls.
It rolls here. He's got a line of like 30 cars behind him honking. They're mad.
He's got he Flintstones. He's got a little cutout below, and he just kind of gets the momentum going. And
that's why his cat is like that.
As long as he hits the train tracks going fast enough, that propels him for the second half of the drive.
And he stops, uses his feet like Fred.
Yeah.
Barefoot. Fred was a bad dude. Not only did he start the car with his feet barefoot, he would also stop it.
How did he have
barefoot.
skin on the bottom of his feet? That's disgusting.
Man was a beast.
Good Lord.
Screw with Fred Flintstone.
That guy needs a pedicure in the worst way.
Yeah, no
You
doubt.
see him going into the spa.
And they just look at his feet and say no.
Hey, get out.
That's all they say, no.
You get out. Firehouse Subtext the hour. What do you got? 803-404-6100.
Talking about Gamecock baseball, Chris says Ryan Bakes needs to play more too.
Oh, the catcher.
And
Got some power.
He caught yesterday
He got some
for
power.
Lee Croy. And again, Lee Croy hasn't found it at the plate just yet. Give it some time, obviously. But it seems like he's the primary catcher as of right now. But Bakes, Coffer, I believe, is going to get the start coming up tomorrow night. You got some viable options behind him.
And he's a guy that might DH a little bit if you want to get his bat in the lineup. But
Yep.
yeah, absolutely. He came from A&M, I believe. Is that the guy from A&M?
I believe so.
Yeah. All right, we appreciate
No,
the text.
Coffers from A&M.
Coffers from A&M, that's right.
Because Bakes came in last year.
That's right.
Yeah.
I get my backup catchers mixed up. 803-404-6100. Thanks a lot for the Firehouse Sub text the hour. Our buddy Mike Uva sent in a text. Did you see the Uva text?
I
think
did.
It came to both of us. We were talking about Matthew Stafford earlier, and Mike Uva popped us a...
I'm really hoping it's not Matthew Stafford slander. I'd be very disappointed.
No,
It's
it's
not
Matthew
slander. It's
Stafford
actually
love.
praise.
And
Okay.
Mike says, fun fact, only 3 quarterbacks who were drafted first overall since 1990 have won a Super Bowl as a starting quarterback. Matthew Stafford
Okay.
and both Mannings.
Wow. And only the Mannings have done it with the team that drafted them. Well, technically, Eli wasn't drafted by the Giants, but
Right.
traded for, but you get the gist.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have, without doing the research in my head, I would have lost that bet, honestly.
You know what? Because I would have went Peyton Manning easy. And Eli, again, semantics, right? If you're going to say, well, he was originally drafted by the Chargers, then that pushes him out of it too, which would make Peyton the only one who was drafted by the team and played for the team.
So, it's a question, do you really want to draft a quarterback number 1 overall? Is that really going to give you the most success?
Well, look at where
Fair
it's
question.
at. I mean, it is interesting.
It's the most Detroit Lions thing ever, though, that the team, they're the only one of those three that drafted the player, had the player play with them for a decade, and they didn't get close to winning the Super Bowl. He leaves.
Showing he was a franchise-level quarterback pretty much the whole time.
The entire time.
Oh,
it was awesome. The entire time.
Listen, when Aaron Rodgers was with the Packers, he's like, look, the best quarterback in the league's playing for the Lions right now. It's just nobody knows it because the team sucks.
Right.
And hey, look, you go out there with playmakers in L.A., and guess what happens? You win.
And ready? How many years was he in L.A.? One. His first year, he wins a Super Bowl with the Rams. Ah, those Lions.
See, that's why, NFL discourse can be exhausting because anyone who knows ball knows Matthew Stafford's really, really good. He's a Hall of Fame level quarterback.
Well, the funny thing, everybody loves to lose their mind about Mahomes making sidearm throws and all that stuff. Stafford's been doing that since 2009. You know what I mean?
Stafford was doing that at Georgia.
Yeah, this is nothing new for him.
Yeah.
But again, when you're playing on Lions teams that are very bad, people don't pay as much attention to that kind of stuff.
And this goes to our point. Always about Mahomes. Look, no one's disregarding how good Patrick Mahomes is, but put Patrick Mahomes on those crappy Lions teams forever. They'll be saying this, quit throwing the ball like that, bro. What's wrong with you? You can't do that.
Think about this. The Lions had Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson, and they couldn't find a way to win a playoff game.
Ready? Let's go even next level.
No running game or defense, neither of which were really good.
Think about this. The Lions were so pathetic. They were so bad. It beat down two of the greatest players in franchise history to retire early.
Like Calvin Johnson doesn't even like football anymore.
I know. And
I wouldn't either.
Barry Sanders, who was within, a season of breaking the all-time NFL rushing record, said, I can't do this anymore. I can't. Didn't he sound like a fax retiring? He just look, or he left a note under somebody's door. I'm retired. I can't do this anymore. I can't play for this crappy franchise anymore.
My back hurts from carrying this organization.
I just can't do it.
And my knees hurt from having to juke out all 11 players in the backfield.
Hey, look who showed up. Jay Phillips. He made it. Look at that guy. Long drive. Hey, give him a break. Long drive.
Give him some time to stretch before he gets in here.
All right, what do you got coming up?
We got Paul Maneri coming in at 15. Not coming in, but over the phone at 5:15. Talk about the solid weekend on the
post-game show with Jay and Elijah. Fine job, Tyler. Appreciate you. We'll come back again and do it tomorrow on the halftime show. Post-game show's next with Paul Maneri here on the Game.
107.5 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevy Studios. You can save up to $20,000 on new Silverados. Stop by or shop online today and see how Herndon Chevy makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proof